This is a presentation of the IHSA TV network.
Welcome you back to our 4A state championship game here at Memorial Stadium. Richmond, Burton, and Rochester. The only thing these two teams have in common is their nickname, the Rockets. Hi again, everybody. Dave Bernhardt along with Dane and Hughes. And as we take a look at Richmond, Burton, I love what their coach calls their offense. Blunt force trauma. It's a pure running attack.
It is. And when you look at this team and what Decal has done offensively, 13 touchdowns at that running back position, but more importantly, 8.6 yards per carry, almost averaging a first down every time he touches the ball. But you're right, blunt force trauma is the key. They like to hit, they like to be physical.
On the other side, well, it's Wes Lund. He's one of the great quarterbacks in Illinois State high school football history. Headed to Oklahoma State, this young man, though he missed the first 4 games of the season with a broken foot, he's done it all.
Well, you know what, it's amazing when you look at the numbers that he's produced. 3,100 yards on the season, 28 touchdowns, 3 interceptions only, and that all came in one game, 3 interceptions. But you're right, to be able to bounce back from that foot injury has been great for this team. He's been an infusion of energy and a great leader.
I don't care what kind of offense you like, you're going to get it here tonight in your 4A game. Rochester in the air, Richmond Burton in the ground. Your 4A championship game coming up next. Take a look at the Richmond Burton fans. They are bringing a team 12-1 on the season here. On the other side, the Rochester Rockets. They're 11-2. They are the defending state champions in Class 4A. Here's how they got here. First of all, trailing in every one of these games that you see, at some point in time, Rochester was behind before beating Quincy Notre Dame. Gave up 485 yards against Mantina, but 4 interceptions saved Rochester. Then a big 55-21 win over Bishop McNamara before that semifinal win, 41-13 over Charleston. On the other side, for Richmond Burton, they did it by way of pounding Brooks. They got by Mendota. A 7-0 game over Evergreen Park. And then the game against Stillman Valley that was tied with a little over 3 minutes left. They end up winning that one, send themselves to the championship game. So it will be the Rockets versus the Rockets. Rochester, you see them in the blue right there, defending state champs. Richmond Burton from the northern part of the state. They meet for your 4A title game. Kickoff coming up next.
The IHSA State Football Championships are brought to you by Country Financial. It is time for the nightcap of our first day of action, the 4A State Championship game. The defending state champion Rochester Rockets taking on Richmond Burton. I had a chance to speak with Richmond Burton head coach Pat Elder a few minutes ago, and as you might expect, he said, we have got to keep Rochester's offense off the field. They're explosive. Wes Lund is a Division I recruit. Our best defense is our offense and making sure we stay on the field. I said, do you think you can wear them down with your size? He said, that's the goal. I hope so. We've done it all season long and throughout the playoffs. And if they do that, they stand a pretty good chance of winning this game. Now for more on Rochester, let's send it over to Sophia Minich.
Derek Leonard said before the game that for them offensively, the key for them is the first down. He said that first one is the most important because that's what's going to set the tone, and he said that's the key for us. We need to set the tempo that we want. If it turns into the Richmond Burton tempo, which is slow and huddle, he said we will struggle there. So he said that first down is the most important. And of the contrasting styles, he said it's really difficult to prepare the guys for a game like this. We haven't seen a team like them. He said we can't even practice that way because that's not what we do. So he said mentally the guys will really have to focus on their assignments and be dialed in. Dave and Danon, back up to you.
Thank you very much, Sophia, and you are so dead on with that thought from Derek Leonard about how they've not been able to see a team like Richmond Burton, but you know what? The same thing can be said for Richmond Burton. They have not seen a team like Derek Leonard's that will spread the field and keep the pace of the game almost frenetic at times.
Well, I think that's what makes this exciting, to see two different and contrasting styles going against each other with everything on the line for the championship. We saw an exciting game in 3A. Actually, all the games have been exciting so far. Running swing attacks, aerial attacks. Exactly what you want to see in late November in championship play.
Richmond Burton to kick off with the wind. It's about 20 miles per hour blowing from the south, and that hits the pylon, and that will be a touchback. And offense will start from the 20-yard line. Now, here's the biggest challenge tonight. It's for my partner, Danon Hughes, to get his comments in between Rochester plays. This is an Oregon-type style of offense in terms of how quick they want to play, how quick they want to line up and get the ball snapped. Good luck, buddy.
Well, I think, Dave, you're going to have to give me the stiff arm every once in a while to shut me up, because I get excited when I see aerial attacks and Wes Lunt, what he brings to this team and what they're trying to accomplish. No huddle offense should be exciting.
Saw those numbers on Wes Lunt. He's completed 72% of his passes. He missed the first 4 games this season with a broken foot. And as one would suspect, out early to Zach Grant. Grant shoved out of bounds. Zach Grant, his 119th reception of the year. Here's the offensive line that Rochester had to replace from last year. Roach, Sands, Staten, Zabatos, and Leeper receivers. Everybody's going to touch the ball. Dooley, Cronin, Grant, Green, and Pasley. Wes Lunt will find them. 119 receptions for Zach Grant, almost 2,100 yards. It's believed to be both of those numbers the highest numbers of any high school player in the nation. And Grant will have a first down quickly across midfield.
Well, they're not wasting any time getting things going. You got the playmaker in Wes Lunt, who's obviously going to touch the ball on every snap, and the first 2 snaps he gets it to the next playmaker in Zach Grant, 6 foot, 192-pound senior. Like you said, over 2,000 yards and 21 touchdowns on the season. 16
yards and 17 yards on the first 2 plays. They'll go again to the left side. This is Austin Green. Get another first down. Here's the defense for Richmond Burton. They're going to have to catch their breath. It's a big defensive team for the Richmond Burton Rockets. Regal, Pauly, Robeson is a big one in the middle. John Flood, an all-stater, and Nick Zielinski. Linebackers, Ignatowicz and Jack Deckow. He'll see a lot of time offensively. Vlasic, Straight, Ellis, and O'Kane will have to defend in the secondary. The quick slant to Grant. Zach Grant has room and blockers. Grant runs into his own man down to the 15-yard line. That a gain of 22.
I tell you what, it's tough for us up here in this booth to keep up with this Rochester offense. I can only imagine what Richmond Burton is going to have to deal with all game long. Just a nice little wide receiver screen, a short slant, and then it's off to the races with Zach Grant. Does a great job of running with the ball after he catches it.
Lunt 4 out of 4 to get things started, make it 5 out of 5. This completion down near the goal line will go to Seth Cronin. He's already gone to 3 different receivers. First and goal, Rochester.
And although they're throwing the ball on each down, you can say that it's a nice mixture, throwing left, throwing right, bubble screens, and big plays down the field.
Garrett Dooley, head down, stretches, not there yet. Brought down by number 61, John Flood. Garrett Dooley has rushed for almost 1,200 yards, 25 touchdowns. He's also caught 46 passes. And that's a touchdown. Give it to Seth Cronin. It took 1 minute and 13 seconds for Rochester to power down this field.
Unbelievable display of offensive attack. You can see Wes Lunt does a nice job. He's controlling the game, pass and run. Great job by Seth Cronin up front. The protection by the offensive line was stellar.
Extra point by John Perry. He is now 53 of 57 this year. And the defending state champs, Rochester Rockets, under head coach Derek Leonard, in his 7th season have gone on top 7-0. There's Seth Cronin. He will take a little bit of a breather, or he'll head back out on defense. He's also one of the linebackers for this Rockets team.
Well, conditioning comes into play. When you watch this Rochester team play, you can tell that the coach does a great job of getting these guys in condition. 7 plays, 80 yards on the first drive. Amazingly, in 1 minute and 13 seconds, ends with Cronin and his touchdown run. But when you're going against this type of team, you can't afford to make any mistakes. And we saw this in the 3A game where contrasting offensive attacks. can a running style team keep up with the fast break offense like you have with Wes Lunt and the Rochester Rockets?
Get a look at Pat Elder. He is in his 6th season, 52 wins and 18 losses at Richmond Burton. Also had coaching stints at Winchester and Sherrard. 100 victories overall. The last 3 years at Richmond Burton, all he's done is lead those Rockets to a 34-4 record. They'll get their hands on the ball here. They'll get it in good field position with that kick out of bounds by Perry. Got a little too excited, I think. It was not really a good effort there by Perry, but Rochester's offense will come onto the field, and they will be led by their quarterback. You see him right there, Matt Malecki. 37 attempts this season. That's it. 13 games, 37 attempts. That tells you all you need to know about this Richmond Burton offense.
You know what? And they are a running team. They're going to run the ball. Everyone in the stadium knows it. But you look at those numbers, 18 completions, 7 of them were touchdowns. So he can be very accurate if he has to throw the ball.
Leading ground gainer is Jack Deckow. He gets the call here. He'll get a couple of yards. This offense led by Deckow. They're led by their big line up front. And this is where Richmond Burton has made their money. Zach Rigel, you see John Flood, Nick Smith, Tyler Stanton, Jake Pauly. A very smart academically offensive line. Receivers of O'Kane, Kinsella, Deckow, Fontana, Rigel as well. Pat Elder prowling that sidelines. He needs to keep the ball out of Rochester's hands. And that's what his fan base is saying as well. This time it will be Kinsella. Defensively for Rochester, they've given up 25 points per game this year. That's partly because they're on the field quite a bit. Swain, Sands, and McMinn, the defensive line. Evan McMinn, the brother of Riley McMinn. Austin Green, Garrett Dooley, Reed Watson, and Seth Cronin. You see a lot of duplications here offensively and defensively. Grant and Pasley also the defensive secondary for Rochester. And here's a 3rd and long for Richmond Burton. They continue to stay on the ground, and they will be well short of the first down. Only 5 yards in 3 plays for Richmond Burton.
Nice job at the point of contact with defensive tackle Cody Sands, number 52. Very stout in the middle and exactly what you want. You can see he sheds the blocker. Good job up front also by number 34, Garrett Dooley. The linebacker comes into the game with 102 tackles, 27 sacks for the junior. Does a nice job right there to create 4th down.
Michael Marzal will come in to punt for Richmond Burton. There's Marzal. Averages 26.5 yards per kick, kicking with the wind. It's a low kick. It takes a good hop, a chance for a return inside the 15-yard line. Not much running room right there for Zach Grant. Good coverage on the play. 47-yard punt, a 4-yard return, and a 7-0 Rochester lead as we step aside in the first quarter of your 4A championship game. Richmond Burton fans need their defense to get to work. Last time they were on the field, they gave up an 80-yard drive. Lunt outgunning. He has it complete very quickly to Austin Green. Green will take it out to the 26-yard line. Now, Austin Green was the quarterback for Rochester when Lunt was injured in the first 4 weeks of this season. Well, what did Green do? He completed 67% of his passes for 1,285 yards and 13 touchdowns. He had 6 touchdown passes in 1 game. He's the backup quarterback. This is Garrett Dooley to the 31, a first down.
34, Garrett Dooley, ball carrier.
Folks, do not take a bathroom break. Do not go to the refreshment stand until another TV timeout, because this fast break offense is a treat to watch and to witness, to see what these young men are doing out there in the movement. Again, another completion for Lunt.
He goes to Austin Green again. He's throwing against a 20-mile-an-hour wind. Completions of 9 and 15 yards. His coach says he's obviously the best quarterback he's ever seen. And this is coming from a Rochester coach that has had some great quarterbacks in the past, including Wes's brother, Will Lunt, who's now a quarterback at Western Illinois University, Sean Robinson, who's redshirting this year at Purdue. Here's Wes. He's headed to Oklahoma State, and that ball gets knocked down at the line. You know, Dana, the thing that is fun to watch from our vantage point especially is how quickly Rochester sprints back to the line of scrimmage and begs the official to make the ball ready for play. First incompletion for Lunt. That's in his 8th attempt. He's now 8 of 9. He goes to Grant. Zach Grant had 20 receptions in one game this year.
And what you're seeing here is a display on offense by Rochester. They're taking exactly what the defense is giving them. The defense, the Rocket defense, Richmond Burton, has chosen to be off coverage. And now what you're seeing is taking the short routes until they come up.
There will be a flag. It'll be an interference call that time on Andrew Strait. There's Strait.
Well, you throw the hitch routes in front of them, and then at some point they have to come up and contest you. And right there you can see Andrew Strait.
15 yards, automatic first down.
Strait.
Grabs Zach Grant right around the waist. Can't get away with that type of penalty. Christopher Vlasic, as well as Andrew Strait at the cornerback positions, are really going to have to do a better job of disguising their coverage. They can't just line up 10 yards off because Will Lunt will pick them apart.
And Andrew Strait, one of the heroes in that semifinal win over Stillman Valley. It was his fumble recovery for a touchdown that broke the tie in that game with 3 minutes and 16 seconds to play and route to the victory over Stillman Valley, 40-28. Now they will walk off the penalty as Wes Lunt looks on, 6'5", 205-pounder. And you'll see him more as the game will go on, but said coach right there, Derek Leonard, says if things go right for number 11, you can see him playing the NFL someday. His hero is Peyton Manning. Quickly goes to Dooley, a little bit too low.
You can see the same type of composure when you talk about Peyton Manning, and obviously this young man's not at that level yet, but at the high school level, you see the composure, the leadership skills that he displays out there, directing traffic, taking advantage of the defense's weaknesses, dishing the ball to his playmakers.
He gets it, he throws it to Green. Oh, what a move by Austin Green. Gets him inside the 15 for a first down. This is an offense that has 5 different receivers with more than 38 catches. This one goes for 13 yards.
Another just a short hitch route on the outside, yards after the catch. Both what we're seeing with Austin Green and Zach Grant.
Lunt to the end zone. That goes up and away. He was looking for Grant. You're getting your money's worth if you like plays per minute in a football game.
See, that's a good decision by Lunt right there, going against the zone coverage of the Richmond Burton team. And there you have, as you get into the gold zone or the red zone, you're going to see the defenses get a little bit more stout. They're closer to the line of scrimmage, not as many windows.
Quick slant to Grant, and oh, does he take a hit? He is stuck there by number 25, Brett O'Kane. Also, Zach Ignatowicz, number 22.
Well, Zach Ignatowicz comes up, makes a huge hit, 84 tackles on the season. He's a leader of this defense, and you can see both get there at the same time, he and O'Kane, for the huge hit to create 3rd and 10.
Rochester will take a timeout. It's an interesting stat you saw at the bottom of your screen. Time of possession just about the same, a little over 2 minutes. Number of plays run, 16 for Rochester, 3 for Richmond Burton.
Amazing to watch young men play, and you see this type of offense right there. You witness the time of possession and the plays, 16 plays for Rochester, but to recognize that these are high school students, and to see how they're able to play and dissect defenses and be able to perform at the level that they're playing is just a treat to watch. As a former wide receiver, to see the wide receivers and quarterbacks in sync together, it's phenomenal.
It's a Rochester team that ran the table last year, 14-0. They defeated Rock Island Alderman for the 4A state title. Yet coming into this season, after graduating 14 senior starters, Derek Leonard said, I really only had 3 starting positions set. Of course, Wes Lunt, Zach Grant, and Dakota Greer, who is now out injured. He had to replace everybody, including his entire offensive line. 4 of the 5 players on last year's offensive line playing in college this year. It's a much smaller bunch this season. Here's Green, gets a block, and he will be near the goal line, down at the 1. 12 yards on that completion.
Great job by Green, but the blocking downfield, you can see Seth Cronin comes into play. Blake Passley also blocking downfield, allowing him just enough of a window to get down inside that 1-yard line.
Timeout will be called by Richmond Burton here with the ball at the 1-yard line. So defensively trying to get them maybe to catch their breath a little bit as well.
Well, what you're going to see is the game plan for Rochester is to come in and take advantage of the defense with the short routes. You wonder when Richmond Burton is going to have their corners and defensive backs come up and challenge the wide receivers. I think that's exactly what West Lunt and Rochester wants, to be able to throw the ball downfield. But as long as Richmond Burton chooses to have their cornerbacks and safeties line up 10 yards off, he's just going to pick them apart, and he's done so far. 147 yards so far in this first quarter.
We played just a touch over 5 minutes in this game. And you look at Pat Elder, and he knew what he was up against here, and I know we are still early, but just the pace of the game, there is absolutely no way that that can be simulated by his team in practice this week.
It can't be, and you consider what they were able to accomplish last year. In 2010, they had a quarterback, Adam Pitzer, who went to Wyoming. But you're right, when you are a running team, it works against you at time when you're playing against a spread type of throwing team and you have to scout them.
Seth Cronin, his second touch of the day, his second touchdown of the day, and it's a 13-0 Rochester lead.
Well, nice job at the point of contact. Joe Roach, the center, does a great job of push, and you can see number 62, Austin Staten, comes in with the push at the same time. So at the point of contact, both in pass protection and run game, they're doing a great job up front. Brett Geaver, Cody Sands, offensive line is very complete.
Harry for the extra point, knocks it home, and just like that, 2 possessions, 2 scores, 14-0 Rochester. We come back, Richmond Burton catch their breath, try to make something happen. Rochester Rockets touchdown drives tonight of 80 yards and 83 yards. They have taken a minute 13 and a minute 53 to do each of those. High pop-up here on the kickoff. A good return is Ignatowicz. Seth Cronin with that last touchdown. He has a couple of them tonight, and there is your scoring drive for Rochester. And you know, Dana, this feels like a basketball game, right? Where one team, wants to fast break up and down the floor. Now it's up to Richmond Burton to reestablish their pace.
Exactly, and that's what they're going to have to do, is impose their will. It's going to start up front, be more physical. The Delaware wing T offense is not necessarily designed to be able to come back from behind, so they're going to have to get stout and get yardage in that first and second down, not to create the 3rd and long situation to force them in passing.
This is Brett O'Kane on this carry. O'Kane, really one of the unsung heroes on this team. O'Kane had to play 2 offensive and 2 defensive positions this year, and they were not his best positions. That's because Jack Deckow missed the first several games. He missed 4 weeks, played linebacker for a couple of weeks. Deckow had broken his right ankle at a national wrestling tournament. Deckow headed to Old Dominion on a wrestling scholarship, but O'Kane stepped in. And thanks to O'Kane, the Rockets were 5-1 without Deckow. That's one of the reasons they're here. Not much room coming here to the near side. O'Kane again being helped to his feet by number 52, Cody Sands.
Another nice job by Cody Sands playing at that defensive tackle position. Does a nice job of scraping down the line of scrimmage, dislodging himself from the blockers and putting himself in a position to make those type of tackles. Guys are doing their job on defense for the Rockets of Rochester.
Richmond Burton on their second possession looking for their initial first down. Meanwhile, Rochester has 11. Rochester stays home as Adam Kinsella ends up with that ball, and a 3rd and long has now become a 4th down and long.
Outstanding play by Austin Green, the linebacker number 14, trails the play, recognizes what's happening in front of him, and makes the tackle. Adam Kinsella could not get much downfield, largely in part to Austin Green, the outside linebacker for Rochester.
2 3-and-outs here for Richmond Burton. Only 6 yards of offense here as we're underneath the 5-minute mark. Marzal, not a good kick off the side of his foot. It's going to get a pretty good hop, a little bit of a roll. And the best field position of the night for Rochester, this 25-yard line after that 31-yard kick. And here comes number 11, Wes Lunt. This is game number 4 of your quadruple header here. The crowned champions in 3 other classes. Dakota 41-27 over Tuscola after spotting Tuscola, a 14-0 lead. Morrison gets the state title in 2A, 23-14. If you were with us moments ago, you saw Aurora Christian, the first state title in Aurora history, 34-7 over Mount Carmel. Rochester here, first of 3 teams you'll see here this weekend, make that 4 teams you'll see here this weekend, looking for back-to-back championships. Wes Lunt, who led the team to victory last year over Rock Island Almond, starts his drive with yet another completion. 11 yards, and for Lunt, he's now 12 of 15.
You talk about a spread offense and what Wes Lunt, this is a true spread offense. Your offensive linemen and tackles are out playing at the wide receiver position. Obviously, they cannot go downfield.
Wes Lunt lays it out there for Grant. Up in the air, down he comes, first down, Zach Grant. Why he leads the nation in receptions and receiving yardage. 39 yards.
Number 1 note I had on this young man was great ball skills. He runs a slant and go down the sideline, goes up at his highest point, gets his left foot down inbounds, controls the ball from the time it touches his hands. Great catch by the All-American Zach Grant.
This to Garrett Dooley. Dooley down the left sideline. Zach Grant on the sideline. Let's see if that left foot did get down for Grant.
You can see right there, he goes up at his highest point, left foot. He gets down. Nice job right there, knowing exactly where he is on the field. Wes Lunt throws the ball away from the safeties and only a place where his receiver can make that play.
A little bit of play action. Flag down late. Back in the backfield. Could this possibly be a roughing call?
I think that's a little bit questionable there, Dave. I think at that point it was a free run by the defense to get in the face of Wes Lunt. Looked like he got there just after
Personal
the ball was
foul.
thrown.
Roughing the passer, defense, half the distance, goal line, first down.
Just going to look at our referee, Howard Owens. He's being helped out by linesman Mark Thomas. The umpire is Rex Roberts. Edison Owen is the line judge, and Dave Purvis, the back judge. And a first down, Rochester just outside the 5. Rochester passes for 343 yards per game. Right now they have 206 as you take a look at our officiating crew for your 4A state championship. First and goal. Dooley loses a ball into the line. People in the white jerseys say they have it. The man in the white cap is the one that counts. And a turnover will go to Richmond Burton. Bottom of the pile, number 75, Jake Pauly.
Nice job by Pauly in the right place at the right time. Garrett Dooley doesn't get the ball, doesn't get the handle at all. Looks like he had his arms the wrong way upon taking the ball. Had his right arm down. Actually, he wound up open. He was correct. He had an open pocket, just did not get his arms around the ball in traffic. And you can see the referee does a great job of getting right in the mix. Recognize there's a lot of stuff goes on in that pile down there, Dave. That's a great job by the referee to know exactly what's happening and make the right call.
Yeah, that was a great camera shot. We don't often get those type of angles to see how dirty you can get down in there. There you go. Good job.
There you go. Sometimes the referee's got to get down and dirty too. You know, especially in this type of offense and what you're seeing. displayed by Rochester. These referees are going to need a water break a few times this game.
Kudos to Rex Roberts, our umpire from Mattoon. On the ground, there's a big hole. Kinsella out near the 30-yard line. Adam Kinsella came in rushing for 794 yards. He can add 19 to that total.
Great job up front. Offensive line does a nice job. You can see the block right there by number 61, John Flood, academic All-American. Seal block on the left side, opens up a crease, allows Adam Kinsella to squirt through for the 19-yard gain.
Talk about Flood. He is an Eagle Scout along with Jake Pauly. To the near side. Deckow. He's not going down. Jack Deckow gives the power, the explosiveness that Richmond Burton was missing with that broken ankle in July all the way through into October. You see what the Rockets get out of him.
Well, you can see it's a nice job by Jack. He does a great job after contact, keeping those feet moving forward. Stephen Hart comes through for the tackle, but not until after the big gain and first down. Deckow comes in with 13 touchdowns on the year.
They're lucky to keep it. And that's worth 5. And all of a sudden here after that turnover, Richmond Burton getting into a little bit of a flow here.
Yes, getting the momentum. And this game is a game of momentum. We talk about it being a game of inches and feet and continue time of possession, turnover ratio. But I think the biggest factor in the game of football is which team has the momentum and how they utilize it. And there's no bigger change of opportunity for momentum than when you have a turnover.
They have themselves in a manageable second down situation. 2nd and 5. Kinsella will get 4 of those 5. '72 at the bottom of the pile, Brett Geaver.
Geaver was in on that tackle. Matt Swain, the defensive end, number 9, 6'5", 180-pound sophomore, also in the mix.
Rochester has been susceptible to the run this year. They've given up an average of 196 yards per game. That will be enough for a first down. Hard earned a couple of yards. The chains will move as Deckow pushes them forward.
Just a nice little dive route by Deckow, and you can see a good crash off the corner by Austin Green, but got there in the strength of Deckow at 6 foot, 190 pounds. I love the way this young man runs. He keeps those feet moving, always pushing the piles, taking more than one Rochester defender to bring him down.
Deckow goes both ways. When he came back after missing the first 4 weeks, he played linebacker for 3 weeks. Then he added fullback a little bit later. He had sprained his ankle, his other ankle. That's why they wanted to take it easy on the offensive side. They held him to defense. In fact, he said the ankle that he broke really didn't feel full strength until the second round of the playoffs, and yet here he has still rushed now for 1,100 yards this year after a 1,400-yard effort last season.
We're seeing the mobility factor come into play for the offensive line for Richmond Burton. Nick Smith, John Flood is a pulling guard, is very athletic as well, and he's able to make plays in space and create creases for the running back.
To the outside with the stiff arm. Deckow thrown down. Nice job defensively that time, at least on the final tackle by number 25, Gabe Ferguson. Only the second year he's played football. He's a basketball player. He shows pretty good tackling skills there.
You can see the defense crashes inside. Nice seal block on the outside. Deckow tries to use the stiff arm, but a nice job of being persistent with the tackle by Ferguson on the sideline. 3rd and short.
Richmond Burton only needs a couple of yards here. Oh, and Malecki wanted that ball sooner than his center was going to give it to him, Nicholas Smith.
False start, offense, 5 yards. Repeat, 3rd down.
You don't see that illegal procedure type call.
A little anxious by Malecki right there, trying to get the quarterback sneak. Normally in this situation, you can see this is the previous play right there. A nice seal block on the edge. Gets Evan McMinn inside and allows Jack Deckow to squirt outside for the big gain.
So what was a 3rd and 2 is now a 3rd down and 7. To the short side of the field, and Kinsella. He will be a yard short. Yes, he will be 1 yard short as he gets to the 40-yard line. Well, and that's where sometimes penalty yardage can be so deceptive. You know, that's just a 5-yard penalty. But a 3rd and 2 and a 3rd and 7, big difference.
Exactly, and you know what? You can't afford to make those type of mistakes. They were able to get the momentum back after they made the previous mistake on the last drive. But you extended this drive, you use up more time, you have a fast-paced offense that you're trying to go against.
Looking for a yard on 4th down. Malecki will have that. A little bit extra. Look at him go. The 6 foot, 190-pound junior quarterback takes it a gain of 10 to the 30-yard line.
Matthew Malecki, AKA Larry Zonka, like on the running attack. You can see quarterback sneak, 4th and short, keeps the legs moving, breaks about 6 tackles, takes about 5 Rochester defenders to bring him down. Nice job by the quarterback and leader of this offense.
Richmond Burton showing a little bit of attitude here in the closing moments of the first quarter. They're on the move. Rochester, an impressive first 12 minutes, and they lead it 14-0. Down on the field, Sophia Minard, Aaron Bennett upstairs. I'm Dave Bernhardt, joined by Danon Hughes. Welcome to our 4A championship game. A fast-paced first quarter, a 14-0 Richmond Burton deficit, and yet they are on the move right here. They're doing it their way on the ground. Lucky to keep. Ferguson throws him down after a 3-yard pickup. Here, your first quarter statistics. Heavy numbers on the side of Rochester. A lot of this yardage early on as we take a look at the total yards, 212 total yards. Time of possession, Richmond Burton dominates. Okay, that shows you how much that means, right? How about the passing yards? 204 yards in the air.
Well, you can see that's what they bring to the ball game. That's their strength. That's their bread and butter. You see 0 passing yards by Richmond Burton. That's not uncommon because they don't throw the ball, they live on the ground.
All right, they're okay with that. Deckow will get close to a first down. That's how they're raised in Richmond area. They say, you know what, the kids love playing this style. It's just straight ahead, pound you football. They like it. It's effective.
It's a Delaware wing tee. He talks about it being a physical team. They have 6 different 1,000-yard rushes over the last 2 years. And you talked about it earlier, Dave, where they lost 17 starters. They wondered, there were some question marks about this team. But what he said is that these Rockets have experienced success their entire career, and that kind of matriculates to them each and every year.
Pitch to Kinsella. That will be enough for a first down as he gets inside the 20-yard line. Zach Graham will pull him up to his feet. And after 2 consecutive 3-and-outs, this upcoming play will be the 14th play of the drive for Richmond Burton.
Nice open field tackle by Zach Grant, but not before the first down is gained. But a quick hitting offense by the Richmond Burton Rockets right now, trying to get the ball in their playmakers' hands very quickly, utilizing the athleticism up front by their offensive line, winning at the point of contact.
Kinsella again. This game is turned following that fumble by Dooley down at the 5-yard line. Is completely Richmond Burton right now. The scoreboard says otherwise.
Well, this is a mirror image of what we saw in the 3A championship with Aurora Christian and how stout their defense was and how they did not allow, they had a bend but didn't break mentality on defense and did not allow Mount Carmel to score until late in the ball game with multiple opportunities inside the red zone. And now we have Rochester with their backs to the end zone and the momentum shift in the favor of Richmond Burton.
Malecki tries it off right guard, and 2 yards will be good enough. First down, 1st and goal. Burton.
First and goal, gets the first down. Nice job. Garrett Dooley comes up from that linebacker position and makes the tackle. But you have to appreciate what Matthew Malecki is doing offensively. You know, as a quarterback, sometimes you get it in your head that you want to throw the ball. When you look across the field and you see the success of Wes Lunt, you want to counter that by throwing the ball, but he's staying within himself, taking exactly what the defense is giving him. Quarterback sneaks to get first downs, doing exactly what's needed to keep this drive going.
O'Kane dives to the 5, and this drive approaches 7 minutes.
Loses the ball, but the referees call him down before the ball squirts out. Cannot afford any turnovers down here. You can see just a quick dive, good push up front. You can see the blocking. Matt Rigel, Zach Rigel does a great job, a double team at the point of contact. Jake Pauley also down there as the right tackle. Pushing forward from the offensive line.
And a second down and goal from the 5. Struggling Dekow, he's in, touchdown, Richmond Burton, 5-yard run, Jack Dekow. Dekow was hit at the line, never kept those feet still, drives forward, uses those wrestling skills. He finished second in the state last year, and he has a touchdown in the state championship game.
Oh, great job here. You can see he gets hit right at the line of scrimmage by Garrett Dooley, but keeps those legs moving. We've seen that displayed time and time again in this first half. Touchdown brings the game within 7 points. You definitely have to believe that the momentum is on the side of Richmond Burton at this time.
They're feeling it. Dekow's 5-yard touchdown run has sliced the lead in half. Rochester the ball when we get back. So the Rochester turnover turns into a touchdown by number 31 right there, Jack Dekow. Everything on the ground for Richmond Burton. What a drive. 17 plays, 95 yards, 7 minutes and 44 seconds.
Incredible, and the job that was done up front. You know, he gets all the praise right there, Jack Dekow, for his 14th touchdown of the year. But that drive was won up front in the trenches. His offensive line did a great job.
Now the Rockets from Rochester to get their hands on the ball. All of a sudden the Richmond Burton fans starting to feel it a little bit more here. But this will be a true test right now. The only way that Rochester's been stopped was that fumbled handoff by Dooley that led to that touchdown drive. There's Wes Lunt, already 204 yards. He's only taken a little over 3 minutes to do it. Rochester with 8 yards rushing. Their 2 touchdowns have come to the ground. 2 one-yard touchdown runs by Seth Cronin. Nothing there initially. Good defense, and look who's out there. Number 61, John Flood, defensive tackle on the tackle of Zach Grant.
Well, this play and the defense won on this play, and the reason why I say that is Nick Zielinski, the outside linebacker, defensive end, drops out, takes away the short hitch route, forces Wes Lunt to hold on to the ball a little longer than he wanted to.
Back to live action, Lunt has to throw that one away. Now here's something, Dana, and of course we have a few players going both ways, but with the 7-minute and 44-second drive, that enables the defense for Richmond Burton to come off the field, maybe get a little, not only breather, but a grasp as to how they can defend this offense now that they've actually seen it for a quarter.
Exactly. I think that's what this game is going to be, a game of adjustments. When you're playing against Wes Lunt and the type of style that he brings and his athleticism, especially his arm strength with the wind at his back, you're going to have to make adjustments, and it looks like that's what's being done right here by Richmond Burton.
3rd and 9, first down completion, it goes to Pasley. Blake Pasley will take it up to the 44-yard line. 19 yards, Lunt to Pasley, first down.
Another play by Lunt. You can see it takes a long time to develop. He does a nice job, good protection up front. You can see the seal block behind him by Garrett Dooley. Finds his receiver on the sideline, nice yardage after the catch.
Here we come right on back. to the right side. Austin Green has been a favorite target today. He won't go down. To the 41-yard line, Austin Green. We mentioned he was the quarterback to start this season. He's gone and played defense. He's a receiver, and he gets 15 yards on this one.
You can see the blocking downfield pass, Leo, from the wide receiver position. Seth Cronin comes out from the running back position, or the slot, I should say, for a key block downfield to keep the chains moving.
Now we get whistles and flags, and that's the only thing right now that's slowing Rochester. Get a look at Austin Green.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 5 yards. Still first down.
Green, 7 receptions, 72 yards. Zach Grant already 8 catches for 120 yards. Wes Lunt, 18 of 22 for 239 yards. Seth Green may have gotten a little bit jumpy on that last play. Lunt to keep it. And the hearts of the Oklahoma State fans jumped into their throats on that play.
That's a nice choice right there on the quarterback read. Saw the defense float towards Garrett Dooley. Had the presence of mind to keep the ball.
Now have a little bit of delay as Henry Robeson, the 295-pound senior nose guard, leaves the field. What a dream game Robeson had in the semifinals. That big man had 2 interceptions. He was talking after the game. He said, I've never had an interception in my life. He had 2 interceptions on deflected passes in that win over Stillman Valley.
And you know what? All defensive tackles think they can run with the ball. Great treat for that young man.
Richmond Burton defense denying the run. Here's number 22, Zach Ignatowicz, came into this game with 85 tackles. Not a big linebacker, 6'1", 190.
Well, he's a leader of this team. When you look at this defense, it's a 52 monster defense. They're spread out just a little bit more.
Lunt waits, finds Seth Cronin. Cronin first down to the 22, 16 yards. Cronin a big impact. He played defense last year in the championship game a little bit. Big impact offensively this year.
See, this play was drawn up very well. You can see Cronin loses his helmet at the tackle, but a nice job.
Lunt to the end zone for Grant, who comes down with it. Touchdown, Zach Grant. 22nd touchdown of the year on a 22-yard pass from Wes Lunt.
Zach Grant, 6 foot, 192 pounds. We've seen him climb the ladder twice today and catch the ball at the top of, at the height of the throw, and he comes down with the key score for Rochester on that drive.
Lunt with his 29th pass of the season, 29th touchdown pass, the 10th game that he's played. Perry's extra point is good, and Rochester has moved the ball down the field every single possession, only stopped once by a turnover, but here's Lunt to Grant for 6. Rochester regains that 14-point lead after Deckow's touchdown. Here's how they did it. Wes Lunt finding his best buddy, Zach Grant, 22 yards out.
Well, just another fade route. He throws it in a place where only his receiver, and that shows you the trust of these two young men, and you can see the sportsmanship displayed right there at the end, helping the opponent up, but not until after that touchdown, and just a nice drive. About 4 straight drives without that fumble. This team is playing on all cylinders right now, hitting on all cylinders and doing a great job on the offense. They have to figure out how to be able to play a little bit better defense against the running attack for Richmond Burton.
Perry hits this one through the end zone for Richmond Burton. We'll have to start from their 20-yard line. Wes Lunt, what a big night he's had. That's for Richmond Burton, those would be season numbers for Lunt here tonight. 20 of 24, 277 yards, a touchdown. We're halfway through the second quarter, folks. And for his receivers, this is nothing unusual. Spreading the wealth. How about Zach Grant's numbers there? 8 receptions, 142 yards.
Unbelievable display, and it just seems effortless by this team. It seems like there's so much trust involved in what they're able to accomplish offensively. They almost expect it to happen, and that's such a treat to watch.
Well, the one thing with Zach Grant, we have a penalty on the play, by the way, as Lunt continues
Dead
to warm
ball.
up as if he has
Substitution
been warming
infraction,
up.
defense.
There'll be a
5
five-yard
yards.
penalty. You
Remains
hear the
first
call.
down.
But Zach Grant, who caught that touchdown pass, week number 2, he's the Chicago Bears Player of the Week. Now that nomination based on a performance, of course, but it's also part of his on-field performance, community involvement, and good sportsmanship. So a great honor for Zach Grant in week number 2. In fact, he will be at the Chiefs game and December 4th. And my partner Dana Hughes will be keeping an eye on that Bears-Chiefs game.
So, well, it's going to be, speaking of the Bears, and, they've been great in the NFC this year, and they just lost their quarterback. It's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back with the backup quarterback situation in a very dangerous NFC conference and division that they're in with the Green Bay Packers.
A 2nd down and 3 here for Richmond. Burton. Remember the last time they had the ball, they held it for about 7 minutes. They don't have that much time left here in the first half. They're down to 5:25. They may not need it. Deckow, hard running. In fact, his coach, Pat Elder, said this guy has a great motor. He just goes hard all the time.
I was very fortunate to witness great wrestlers at the University of Iowa, and the Brands brothers were there when I was there. We came in together, and you can see the determination very similar to those young men and what you see with Jack Deckow, that wrestler mentality to never give up. He displays that every time he touches the ball.
Headed to Old Dominion, 2nd place finisher in the state wrestling tournament. Kinsella, they try to rip the ball from him. He has none of that. He gets to the 39. That's an important 5 minutes here, final 5 minutes for Richmond Burton. They trail by 14. They showed that they could move the ball the last possession. They scored a touchdown. If they can move this ball, score again here before the half, they get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. So this game could be very interesting, but only keyed by this particular drive. That clock can move pretty quickly when Richmond Burton Rockets have it. Malecki looking for yardage up the middle, and he has it. Matt Malecki to the 45-yard line. 16 yards on that run up the middle.
And I have to believe that Matthew Malecki is calling that play on his own. I don't think that's coming from the sideline so much. You can see he just recognizes a weakness and a void in the defense. Give credit to his offensive line, John Flood, who's at that left guard position, and Tyler Stan at the right guard, with Nick Smith, the anchor, at the center, doing a great job in the middle, opening up those creases, allowing him to score through.
Malecki's already carried 6 times for 42 yards today. There's another hole for Deckow up the middle. Boy, this offensive line starting to get it going here for Richmond Burton. Talking about Jake Pauley on the right side of that line. Left tackle Zach Regal.
You can see, you always want to see teams that take advantages of weaknesses, and when you recognize the weakness, instead of getting cute or trying to get too creative, you just go at it. Being more physical than your opponent is working for Richmond Burton right now.
Good tackle by Seth Cronin, number 45. Matt Swain, number 9, there as well.
Very nice job by that young man right there. You can see how quick he got to the ball, came into the game with 126 tackles and 18 sacks. Does a nice job at linebacker. When you look at this linebacking core for Rochester, they do a very nice job. He and Garrett Dooley, Austin Green, we called his name multiple times as well.
Richmond Burton needs a couple of yards for a 1st down. They'll try it on the pitch. There's the 1st down. O'Kane will take it to the 32. Coming up on 2.5 minutes to play. Clock stops for the change to move. 21-7, Rochester lead here in the 2nd quarter.
It's a 1st down for Richmond Burton at the 32-yard line.
Timeouts left. Both teams have 2. Deckow Bangs off one man. What a load Jack Deckow is. Deckow, 6 foot, 190 pound senior, a hard-earned 8 yards.
He's not going down easy, and you know what's been beneficial for this type of program and this type of team, especially with this running attack, is that teams will get tired of trying to tackle him. You want to run him early. Any quality running attack that has a bruiser like Deckow, you run him early and often. By the fourth quarter, opponents don't want to tackle, especially when you get into the secondary.
Malecki gets that surge up the middle, yet another first down for Richmond Burton. The clock stopped with 1:37 left. And now it will start moving.
And this is key right there. That picture right there where you see Malecki going to the sideline for every single play takes time off the clock. It's going to force them to use those timeouts in times when they may not want to, just because of the nature of their offense and how they use the substitution and play calling.
Ball sits at the 19-yard line. Traffic on that side of the field for Adam Kinsella. So they mix it between Kinsella, Deckow. O'Kane gets a couple of carries. We've got 60 seconds to play here in the half.
And this is a situation, it's almost like a boxing match here, Dave, where you see Rochester recognizing, hey, we're getting beat right now. We're getting beat at the point of contact. It's like a boxer getting beaten to a corner. You're just waiting for the round to end. They're banking on not giving up that touchdown before this half ends.
It's a big stop right there. Garrett Dooley, number 34, was at the bottom of that pile for Rochester. This clock continues to wind. It'll be a third down and long from the 17. And will Richmond Burton use their timeout now? Nope, they will let that clock go. They need a first down. First things first. Deckow the carry. It will be fourth down. And they will stop the clock with 13 seconds to play. It will be fourth down and about 5.
And you had to question the time management right there, Dave, as far as when to call that timeout. You don't want to go in the half with opportunities where you're inside the goal or the red zone and you have one timeout left on the clock. It's a decision-making time right here. Do you go for it on fourth down? Do you kick it into the wind for the field goal? But it would have been better to have more time on the clock, maybe draw up a better play on third down to create maybe a fourth and shorter than as opposed to 4th and 5 the way it is right now.
In fact, each of the last 3 plays just playing at the normal pace that they were playing all the way on this drive.
No urgency factor at all for Richmond Burton in this drive.
Well, they need 5 yards right here. They have a timeout remaining. They're going to kick it, though. They're going to look for 3. Michael Marzal is into the ball game. He's 4 of 6 in field goal this year. As long as a 30. This will be just outside the 30. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and that's good. That'll get 3 on the board for Richmond Burton with 9 seconds left here in the half. They cut the lead, Rochester's lead, down to 11, plus Richmond Burton will get that ball back to start the third quarter.
Well, you have to say that that drive was a win, and that's a nice job on the field goal into the win. Good job of execution, but at some point they're going to have to stop Wes Lunt and this Rochester offense. Don't want to get into a shootout with a team that can throw the ball all over the lot and make big plays in chunks when you're nickel and diming downfield with the run game. Taking up a lot of time. The time of possession, again, is in their favor. Richmond Burton Rockets doing a nice job moving at the line of scrimmage, battling inside the trenches, but they're going against an aerial attack that they're going to have to figure something out at halftime. Mix things up defensively in the defensive backfield, give Wes Lunt different looks, maybe force him into a mistake throw that can turn the tide.
We have 9 seconds left here in the half. Richmond Burton fans, they all like to glance up at that video board. Yes, you're on the big screen. I saw Derek Leonard. You see him with his head down in a pensive mood there. Before the ball game, he was glancing up at the board when he was on the screen. guys were giving him a ribbing about that. Derek Leonard became the head coach at Rochester at the age of 25. Played for his dad, legendary Ken Leonard, at Sacred Heart Griffin in Springfield. He went and played quarterback at Illinois College and got that head coaching job at Rochester 7 years ago. All he's done is won a state title and gone 56-22. And we have is there a flag down? Nope, just whistles.
Offsides. It looks like an offsides by the kicking team. Flag over by the far sideline will bring that kick
Dead
back
ball,
5 yards.
Offsides. Kicking team. 5 yards. Repeat.
Of course, Springfield, Sacred Heart Griffin, Rochester in the Central State 8 Conference. The head coach for Sacred Heart Griffin, Ken Leonard, the father of Derek Leonard, right there. And in halftime, Sophia Minert will have a feature and a video on that particular rivalry between Sacred Heart Griffin and Rochester. Had a chance to be at that Sacred Heart Griffin Rochester game earlier this year. It was actually the greatest high school atmosphere I've ever been at. Rochester put on a show down there. It's a carnival atmosphere. We'll get some video coming up at the half, and that's only 9 seconds away. Chance for a return. This is Grant. Grant has some room. Cut back into traffic, and there will be 2 seconds left on the clock. A return of 36 yards for Grant. And 48 yards in 2 seconds, that means nothing to Rochester and number 11 there, Wes Lunt.
Well, the kick return was crucial. Getting it on their side of the 50-yard line in Richmond Burton territory was key. With the wind behind his back, Wes Lunt has an opportunity to throw the ball to the end zone. We've seen the wide receivers for Rochester go up for the ball very well in traffic.
Lunt being chased by Flood, and that's how our first half will come to an end. Good job by John Flood. He never let Wes Lunt get a chance to plant his feet and throw, but Rochester will leave the field with a 21-10 lead.
It's been a great first half for Rochester offensively. They've done everything they wanted to do. You can see that Richmond Burton has imposed their will offensively in the trenches. It's going to be key to see what kind of adjustments Richmond Burton can make defensively when they come out at halftime.
It's been a fun first half here in your 4A state title ball game. The Rochester Rockets, defending state champs, taking on Richmond Burton. One in the air, one in the ground, and it's a 21-10 Rochester lead. As we go to our halftime break, stay right there. Derek Leonard will be coming back, and we'll have more from Memorial Stadium, University of Illinois, 4A title game. We're at the half, 11-point lead for the Rockets from Rochester.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium here in Champaign. Standing by with Rochester head coach Derek Leonard. Coach, Wes Lunt, you said before the game that first down was going to be the biggest one. Well, it took you all of 1 minute to score that first touchdown. Tell me about that quick start in the first quarter.
Yeah, it was a good start, and that's how we go. If we get a first down first, and then we get rolling, we get moving, the no huddle works well. We just got to get a stop. We killed ourselves down there by that fumble. You know, they didn't stop us, and we know it was killing ourselves. We just killed ourselves on that.
Defensively, you guys have been challenged in the second quarter. How do you slow them down going into the second half?
We just got to be physical. I think we started off good, and we kind of got lackadaisical. You know, we just go get off the ball. You know, it's just they're just off the ball and beating us right now. So.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Rochester's up 21-10 going into the second half. We will be back with more highlights and more coverage of this Class 4A state championship. You are watching the 2011 IHSA Football State Championship, brought to you by Country Financial.
The 2011 IHSA Football Championships are brought to you by Country Financial. What's your idea of financial security? We welcome you back to Memorial Stadium. Our halftime score 21-10 in favor of the Rockets from Rochester over the Rockets from Richmond Burton. Dave Fernhardt, Dana Hughes with you, and it's been a fun first half.
Yes, it has. You see the aerial attack, Wes Lunt, and what he's been able to do for Rochester, and the ground game with Jack Decal and Richmond Burton has been a treat. Not much defense being played. That's what I'm expecting in the second half. The adjustments made for defense to be better in the second half.
Well, offense in the first half. Let's take a look at those highlights. First of all, this is the shortest play of a 7-play drive, a 1-yard touchdown run for Seth Cronin. Rochester goes on top, 7-0. This is not a replay. This is the second drive. Cronin from a yard out caps an 83-yard drive. This is the big play of the half for Richmond Burton. It was a fumble at the 5-yard line by Garrett Dooley, and all Richmond Burton did was take a 95 yards deck out, going in from 5 yards out. That was a 7-minute and 44-second drive, and then Rochester came right back. Look at that grab by Zach Grant, 22 yards from Wes Lunt. Mike Marzal added a field goal. That takes us to our halftime score of 21-10. You look at the numbers, and that's why this has been a fun game.
Exactly. You see the strengths of each offense have become true throughout this game. The passing attack by Rochester, Richmond Burton, the run game got going after those first couple of scores. They really did a nice job at the point of contact and in the trenches.
Well, you somewhat alluded to it moments ago about you expect the defenses to come up a little bit, but beyond that, what do you see happening in the final 2 quarters?
Well, I think what you'll see is Wes Lunt. He's going to continue to do what's gotten him successful all season long, coming into this game with 28 touchdown passes. He's very smart with the ball. I expect him to do that in the second half. Conversely, for Richmond Burton, they're going to have to run the ball, but they're going to have to do a better job of getting yards in chunks just to keep up with that high-powered Rochester offense.
We have been here all day in the IHSA television network, crowning state champions. You see Dakota winning it in 1A, Morrison in 2A. Of course, Dana and you and I were here. The Aurora Christian win 34-7 over Mount Carmel, and that was an entertaining ball game in and of itself. The score got away a little bit there at the end, however.
Oh, you know what? When you see great athletes on the field, it's just a treat to watch, and we are privy and definitely blessed to be able to call these types of games and watch players like Anthony Matty do his business on the field. We're seeing Wes Lunt pretty much mirror that today in the second game tonight. He's not running the ball like Matty, but he's throwing the ball very well and efficiently.
Anthony Matty accounted for all 5 touchdowns for Aurora Christian. They win the state title, their first ever. For Rochester, they're looking to go back-to-back, defending 4A champs. They've got an 11-point lead here at the half.
We are back at halftime of the Class 4A state championship game. Rochester leads Richmond Burton 21-10. I'm here with Richmond Burton head coach Pat Elder. And coach, looked like as the first half went along, you guys were able to move the ball offensively. What do you have to do to keep that momentum going here in the second half?
We've got to stay patient. We got to stay in our game. We were able to, after the first drive, we were able to move the ball well. We went 96 yards after the turnover, and obviously that got us back in the game, and then we were able to have the ball back again and get down there and get 3 points out of it. We've got to stay patient. We've got to keep moving the ball, and we got to scratch out a stop somewhere.
Yeah, defensively, how in the world do you slow down this Rochester offense?
We're going to try. We made a couple of adjustments. Obviously Grant and Lund are great players, and he made a heck of a catch down here in the end zone for their 3rd touchdown. But all we can do is keep going at it, and we're going to stay with our game plan and try and have the ball and get a stop in there somewhere.
Coach, thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time. Good luck in the second half. Richmond Burton head coach Pat Elder, his team down 21-10 as we get ready to start the second half. We'll send it back up to the booth. Dana and Dave, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Aaron. And, we talk about the family affair, and you saw that video about Derek Leonard and Ken Leonard, the father-son combination. How about Pat Elder? His dad is John Elder, legendary coach at Alexis High School. His dad won a state championship. Pat Elder looking for a state championship. And, of course, both of the Leonards have picked up one. So what seems to have been a theme here in this entire afternoon and evening for us, Dana, is it really has been a family affair in all of these teams.
It has been. I think that just adds a little bit more to the excitement of these state championships, to know that there's a history behind it. It's not just about one team. And I always talk about this, Dave, where there's a difference between having a team and having a program, and what we're seeing displayed as multiple programs being displayed on center stage at this stadium, and then being able to play quality football. It's been a treat.
Well, if you talk about quarterbacks for Rochester, Wes Lunt putting his name in the record books along with Sean Robinson and his brother Will Lunt. Look at those first half numbers for Lunt, the Oklahoma State recruit. 20 of 25, 277 yards and a touchdown. On the other side, Zach Grant, boy, what a record-setting receiver he has been. Number 12, you see the two buddies right there. Grant leading the way, those 9 catches for 142 yards, and that's nothing unusual. They spread the wealth. Grant, of course, the number 1 receiver, and you could see the size difference. Grant listed at 6 foot, and his head coach Derek Leonard says, you know, if he's 6'3", 6'4", he's a Division I recruit right now, an uncommitted player. Of course, Zach Grant is approaching a record for all classes in a game, receptions in a game, with 13 receptions in a game. So we're on record watch. How about we say that? We're on record watch here in the second half. The record here, 4'8", 365 passing yards, 27 completions, 49 attempts. You saw the Lunt's numbers earlier. He's right on that target. Grant with 210 receiving yards being past that. He's got a record. And then the 10 receptions for a Class 4A record. So in addition to our score that will determine the state championship, we'll keep an eye on all those numbers. Right now, Jack Deckow is going to get a chance to get his hands on the ball first, 62 yards in his 12 carries in the first half, as Richmond Burton will take this kickoff, and they will look to grind some clock here to open up the third quarter.
That's going to be the key to their victory, or at least an opportunity to win this championship, is to grind that ball, keep the ball out of West Lund's hand.
The near sideline, and stepping out of bounds where he can really make things happen is Lance Ramage. Ramage, the kickoff return of 25 yards. See, Pat Elder, everything you look at, all the IHSA.org and anything else lists Patrick Elder. And I asked him, you know, you prefer Pat or Patrick? And he says, well, I go by Patrick. He says, I do anything Patrick because my wife's name is Casey. So if we say Pat and Casey, you're not sure who is the husband, who is the wife. So that's why he goes with Patrick. We'll call him Pat, since it's pretty clear here tonight in Champaign.
Most times when you call someone by their full name, that means they're in trouble. So he'll stick with Pat, I'm sure.
Brett O'Kane to start it off, and he'll slice off the left side for about 4 yards. We talk about being in trouble. We talked about Pat Elder's dad, John Elder, and one of the first jobs that Pat Elder got when he was the head coach at Winchester and Sherrard is he hired a defensive coordinator. That defensive coordinator happened to be that man's father. He says it's the best coaching decision he's ever made, hiring his dad to be the defensive coordinator. Take a look at the play selection. 36 runs, no passes for Richmond Burton. And on the other side, a 25-7 pass-to-run ratio for Rochester. And we do not expect that to change here in the second half.
Give Deckow the ball again, and you can see Matt Swain, the defensive end, comes up, and he's been all over the field. Number 9 for Rochester defensively. Very active defensive end for the Rockets.
Well, we've played a little over a minute here in the third quarter, yet this has become a very crucial third down here. 3rd and 3 for Richmond Burton. They need to keep the ball out of Rochester's hands. Jet sweep right side, first down. Adam Kinsella has it. Boy, he got there in a hurry. Good for 8. Ball near midfield.
It's a nice job by Kinsella. You can see he gets to the corner. It looked like Rochester was expecting the quarterback sneak. That was very successful in the first half. Matthew Malecki got multiple opportunities to run that quarterback sneak, keep chains moving. They anticipate, but they anticipate wrong and allow Kinsella to get down the sideline for the game.
It's very fun to watch this offensive formation. The angle of the camera gives you, because when Richmond Burton has the ball, we can get really tight and see all 11 offensive players. When Rochester has it, we widen it out to go sideline to sideline. It's a contrast that everybody knew was coming in this game.
You wondered if Richmond Burton was going to be able to get on track early on. We saw the success that West Lund and Rochester had offensively. That turnover changed the momentum, got them a little bit more confidence as a team.
The double wing, Deckow will get it. Deckow shakes away from one man. You better get about 6 blue jerseys on him to bring Jack Deckow down. He has it first down to the 40-yard line after a gain of 10.
15 yards. It's a first and 10 yards. It's a first
Nothing
down.
has changed here as we start the third quarter. Here's Deckal coming right at you.
And you can see they fake the jet sweep to Brett O'Kane, and they come straight downhill with Deckal. And, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And right now, Deckal is doing a great job in the run game. Up front, Zach Rigel, John Flood, Nick Smith, Tyler Stanton, and Jake Pauley, excellent as well.
Right side again, Kinsella. Get a good 4 yards on first down.
And Dave, also what you're seeing with Richmond, Burton and their offenses, when Rochester has been successful on defense, it's been when they forced Richmond Burton into 3rd and long. And when you're getting 3 and 4 yards on first down and the run game is clicking like Richmond Burton has shown in these last couple of quarters, it works very well.
There was the opening for Malecki. He's grabbed there by Dooley, but Malecki will carry him forward inside the 30 for a first down. I'm impressed with Matthew Malecki's running ability. That's a pickup of 7.
He came into the game with 85 carries for 309 yards and 8 touchdowns. So he's been a factor in 15 touchdowns on the season. But you can see the void up front, and they have the defense trying to rip the ball away, and Garrett Dooley, the linebacker. Between he and Deckal, they do a great job of running forward, driving their feet, and falling forward, especially when they have to sneak out those first downs.
First down pitch to O'Kane. Oh, great defensive play. Boy, we've called number 45's name both offensively and defensively. That's Seth Cronin, the 6'1 senior.
Great job by the linebacker. You like to see the linebacker scrape sideline to sideline. You talk about players that can do that, and you can see from inside out, does a great job, gives Brett O'Kane nowhere to run, drops him, creates 2nd and 10.
And there it is. And this is a crucial second down here to set up that 3rd and manageable. Malecki wants a hole. He gets one, makes a little bit more, and now it's, what, 3rd and about 4. So that will work for Richmond Burton. You know, and folks that may be just tuning in saying, Dave, why don't you tell us these two teams' nicknames? Well, I will. Rockets.
Yes.
They're both the Rockets. Hence, we stay away from that to avoid confusion. So the Richmond Burton Rockets will have it here on 3rd down and 4. Third down and 4 for Richmond Burton here in the third quarter, opening drive. That'll work for Richmond Burton. That'll go for 6. Touchdown, Jack Deckal. His 15th touchdown of the year, this from 23 yards out. And the Rockets from Richmond Burton score on their opening drive of the second half.
Excellent job here. You can see the movement in the backfield and faking the jet sweep again just to loosen the defense up. A little delayed draw up front. Tyler Stanton is right there at the point of contact. John Flood again, the academic all-state guard. Jake Pauley, the right tackle, involved as well. Key blocks.
Speaking of a key block, there's one right there on the extra point. So the score will remain 21-16. A field goal to end the first half, a touchdown to start the second half. Jack Deckal doing the damage. He's done it all year long. He's doing it in the 4A title game, and we've got a 5-point game. Dressed for the weather or just dressed to amuse? Whatever, it's working. It's working for Jack Deckal. He takes it in for the touchdown, but this could prove to be crucial. A lot of time left in this game.
Well, you know, you block that extra point. Now it's a 5-point ball game. Even if they make it, you're still a touchdown behind. But given the situation and the lack of defense that's being played on both sides of this field, somebody's going to have to make a stop at some point in this ball game.
From the 15. Brent run out of room, run out of bounds. He gets to about the 32-yard line after a kickoff return of 19 yards. Well, and that really is going to be the deciding factor, right? I mean, who will stop whom? Of course, the leg up goes to Rochester right now, the ball in a 5-point lead.
Yeah, and you know what you see is, and I have to give probably a little bit of the edge to Richmond Burton. And the reason why I say that is because they have not been stopped in running the ball. Now, the negative to that is it's taken them a lot of time to get those scores on the board. But if you're throwing the ball, West Lunt, all it takes is a couple of incompletions, and your drive is done with a lot of time on the clock.
It's over a 5-minute drive to the touchdown for Richmond Burton, and Lunt will start it quickly with the pass to Seth Cronin. Well, the one thing you think about if you're a Richmond Burton fan at home watching our games here on the IHSA television network is, how about an interception? Well, Lunt has thrown 3 all year. They all came in the first half of a loss to Chatham-Glenwood. To the left side, and Green. Austin Green sideline. He stays in bounds. This is going to go. Austin Green from Lunt, 60 yards, and a Rochester score, and a late flag comes out. Now the flag came down after Green had reached the end zone. Way back behind the play, 40 yards behind the play. Personal foul will go against Richmond Burton. And Wes Lunt will have thrown his second touchdown pass of this game.
That seemed like that penalty after the touchdown was a little bit more frustration by Richmond Burton. You see Derek Leonard, the coach of Rochester, giving the gesture to get the player thrown out. But this is a nice job, and again,
defense, touchdown counts, penalty on the kickoff.
And again, blocking downfield has been key in yards after catch and contact for these wide receivers. An excellent job. Both teams coming out of halftime, making adjustments offensively to continue to roll and steamroll in their respective manner.
Austin Green will strap that helmet on. He'll play a little bit of defense off a 60-yard touchdown pass from number 11, Wes Lunt. How long did this drive take? It took 43 seconds. It covered 60 yards, and it's a 28-16 lead for the Rockets from Rochester. There's Austin Green. He's been a busy man tonight. Well, he had some pretty nice footwork along that left sideline. Here's that drive chart of the night for Rochester. Touchdown, touchdown. The fumble came at the 5-yard line. Obviously, everything has been successful for the Rockets tonight. Onside kick from this situation, and it may work. And Rochester will get it back. With the 15-yard penalty, put the ball at the 45-yard line. I said, let's go for it.
Exactly, and you know what? When you looked at the offense and the makeup and success of Richmond Burton, in one sense, you want them to go the length of the field. You have the wind behind you. You can kick it into the end zone, make them go 80 yards, take up a lot of clock. But once you have that penalty and you're kicking from your side of the field, a great job and great play by Matt Swain, the defensive end, 6'5", 180-pound sophomore, comes up with a huge play recovering the onside kick. But you have to give credit to Derek Leonard capitalizing on a mistake by Richmond Burton.
And now let's see what they do as they widen this field out. Look at that formation. Lunt to Pasley. Pasley heads out of bounds. You know, when you put a couple of linemen out in front of him, that seems not even fair.
And you can see Patrick Elder is in the ear of the sideline judge because the offensive linemen that were spread out are moving downfield even though there's a pass route. So unless that ball is thrown as a lateral, the lineman should not be able to move downfield. So he's trying to get that call made, and he's screaming from the sideline to get it. And I agree with that. You spread out the offensive line, they have the same rules as if they are interior inside the hash mark.
Lunt quickly to the right side to Pasley again. Pasley room at the 15. And that's where the offensive linemen were on, this time on that wide side of the field to the right side of the field.
Exactly, and they're still screaming down on Richmond Burton's sideline, wanting that call made, and I totally agree with that. You have offensive linemen, they can't go downfield on pass routes unless it's a lateral.
Conventional run, big hole. Dooley inside the 5. Garrett Dooley will take it to a first down and goal. 8-yard burst up the middle. Garrett Dooley, just a junior, will be one of the highly recruited members next time. He'll get it again. Dooley, touchdown. That doesn't take long. After the onside kick, here comes Rochester. They pound it in yet again. 2 scores in less than a minute.
Great job up front, Garrett Dooley twice. You can see him hurdle over blockers on the ground. Nice space created, just a gap between Joe Roach and Drew Zabatos at the offensive guard. And this line and this hurry-up offense by Rochester is really posing a huge problem for Richmond Burton.
Perry was just down here moments ago. He takes care of business. 35-16. And that's right. 1 minute and 5 seconds ago, this was a 21-16 game. Then the 60-yard touchdown pass. Successful onside kick. Couple of passes, Dooley the run. All of a sudden, we're looking at a 19-point difference.
And in some aspects, Dave, you'd like to say, okay, Rochester, maybe you're scoring too quickly, but because we have two different offensive attacks, you can score quickly against Richmond Burton because it's shown that it's going to take them a lot of time for them to get down the field and score points to combat your offensive attack.
Last 2 scoring drives by Rochester covered a combined 99 yards, covered a combined 65 seconds. They're looking to go back-to-back with their state championships. Here's Garrett Dooley. That's a 22-second drive for Dooley. As we said, next year he's going to be one of the highly recruited members off of this Rochester team. He didn't start playing offense until his freshman year of high school. He began his career as a wide receiver, born in El Paso, Texas. Grew up in Pontiac, Illinois. Moved to Pontiac 4 years ago, and the folks in Rochester are pretty happy about that.
You know what? Those cheerleaders are going to be the most muscular cheerleaders in the state of Illinois. If they got to do push-ups for every touchdown scored for this offense, they're going to be very tired by the end of the night.
Well, they average 44 points per game. They have 35 on the board right here, and we still have 5:47 to play in the third quarter. There's Chris Vlasic. He waits this kickoff from Perry, and this will come from the 40. Perry has hit one out of the end zone tonight. And that one will reach it as well with that wind at his back. 20-mile-an-hour wind. It hasn't seemed to affect the Rochester offense at all, as Wes Lunt will stay warm. I can see why. He's thrown 29 passes tonight. He's completed 24. Just doesn't want to get that thing tightened up. Here you go, 364 yards, a 4A record. Just 1 yard short of it. That was set back in 2008. I have a feeling that this time he lets go of the ball, he's got it.
And only 5 incompletions. Great stats for that young man.
He puts the ball where nobody else can catch it. A tight spiral coming out of his hand, a quick release. Tremendous accuracy. He was not a quarterback as an 8th grader. In fact, he was the wide receiver, and Zach Grant was the quarterback when they played youth football in Rochester. The roles are reversed, and I think it's worked out pretty well for the Rockets.
Definitely has. And you go back to the ground and pound attack by Richmond Burton. Good movement up front. John Flood from the left guard position on the seal block opens up a nice little window for Jack Deckow.
To the near side, Kinsella has been able to get pretty good yardage on that play tonight. Goes for 7 and a first down. Maybe the 15th first down of the night for Richmond Burton, who's now rushed for 250 yards this evening.
Gabe Ferguson comes up with the play, and the junior, 6 foot, 175-pound cornerback has really done a nice job in tackling in the open field. Some of those jet sweeps and outside, and you see how hard of a runner Jack Deckow has been And the defensive backs have done a nice job making those tackles.
Dechow crossing 100 yards and more. Here he goes. Jack Dechow. He's got the speed, he's got the power, and he has himself a 68-yard touchdown run. Well, you talk about your quick scoring drives. That's one right there for the Richmond Burton Rockets.
Just when you thought it was going to take a lot of time, we've seen that all throughout the game. Fake the jet sweep, 2 tackles broken, and it's off to the races for Jack Dechow. He showed his open field speed, pulling away from the defensive backs for the big score, the necessary score, much needed score for the Richmond Burton Rockets.
A 1-minute, 7-second drive, 3 plays, 80 yards. Dechow finishes it off with that 68-yard touchdown run, and for Dechow, that's his 3rd touchdown of the night. And now Richmond playing catch-up, going for 2. Pitch, Dechow this way. Can he get to the corner? Stretches, he got it. That little stretch with the ball gets him 2 points, and all of a sudden, we are back to an 11-point difference, 35-24.
Great determination by Jack Dechow. You can see just a pitch, a quick pitch to the right side, trying to get to that pylon, stretches it out at the last minute. Nice job by Cody Sands tracking down, and Gabe Ferguson also involved in that tackle, but you can see him reaching out. All he has to do is get that ball to the goal line, specifically to that pylon, and it's considered a score. 3 plays, 80 yards on the ground.
See how Dechow shows that strength, had his arms almost pinned to his side on that tackle, and was able to get that ball up out in front. Good news for Richmond Burton, they've cut the lead to 11. The bad news is they're going to have to kick off to Rochester and give Wes Lunt the ball. Only one time tonight has Rochester been denied. That was down at the 5-yard line. Garrett Dooley could not handle a handoff from Lunt.
Don't be surprised in this situation if Richmond Burton comes back and gives Rochester a dose of their own medicine with a surprise onside kick here. Trying to get the ball back, recognizing your defense is it's almost impossible to stop them at this point. And that aerial attack, what's the difference between them going 80 yards versus 50 yards? You might as well try your hand at possibly getting that onside kick.
Well, we've had a little bit of scoring here in the last few minutes. Hope you didn't step out of the room. How about that? Last 3 plays combined, 7 plays, 179 yards, and it took 2 minutes and 12 seconds.
3 touchdowns.
Oh.
Unbelievable.
Here comes a possible onside attempt. Interesting formation here. We have 4:40 to play in the 3rd quarter. Remind you, it was 21-10 at the half. It's now 35-24. Hello. And now they'll spread it out a little bit here. They will hit it deep enough. Cronin lets it go. Grant hopes it gets in the end zone, and it does. Boy, that's an iffy decision right there.
Rolling the dice in that situation, but that young man has made plays all throughout this ball game, all throughout this season. So that's a calculated risk, I'm sure, on his part.
Grant, just one of 3 returning starters on this team, the state championship team from last year. A lot of those fans were down here, Rochester, just outside of Springfield. Members of the Central State 8. They did not win the Central State 8 this year. Sacred Heart Griffin did. Rochester, the smallest school in that conference, only 684 students. That's why they play in Class 4A. Here comes Lunt. Good awareness, good hands. Austin Green, the reception, the 25. And that will be enough for a new 8, or make that a new 4A record for Wes Lunt in passing yardage. There are his up-to-date numbers, 369 and growing. 25 of 30, that's as impressive as the yardage numbers. Partner Dayton Hughes eyeballing the linemen that are spread out here in this particular play. Lunt wants to go deep, has a man there. Catch is made. We've got another score. Zach Grant, 75 yards. It's not stopping anytime soon.
I feel like I'm watching a tennis match here. Ball's going back and forth, side to side on this field. Both of these teams stepping up, not being denied, not being fazed by the other's offense and the success that they show. And you just see a nice job downfield again. Zach Grant coming through with a huge play. And the open field one-on-one is a mismatch for number 12.
A 13-second touchdown drive by Rochester. They've cracked the 40-point mark. One more point for good measure. 42-24. There is Zach Grant.
Well, Coach Derek Leonard talked about Wes Lunt, talked about his ability, says he has NFL caliber abilities. You can see it, how quick of a release. You see the turnover of the ball on the sideline thrown in the box. And when I talk about Dave, the box, on fade routes, you want that ball to be thrown to your receivers 4 yards from the sideline over the outside shoulder. Nice touch, good arm strength. Huge play for Rochester right there.
Number 12, Zach Grant, now with a new 4A record, 217 receiving yards on 10 receptions. 2 have gone for touchdowns. Pretty happy as he looks up at that board. Up now, Wes Lunt will sneak a peek. Yep. Okay, our graphics folks working hard for you. Last 4 drives, 9 plays. Yeah, that's right, 4 touchdowns and 9 plays, 259 yards, and it's taken us all of 2 minutes and 25 seconds to put those points on the board. We just had to add 13 seconds to the last number. That's how long it took, and that was with 2 completions mixed in. There are the numbers for Grant. Wow. He's had 20 receptions in one game. He had a couple, he has a couple of 200-yard receiving efforts in the playoffs, 209 against Quincy Notre Dame, 220 against Mantino. Now 217 here tonight. Derek Leonard pretty calm. That's exactly what his offense is supposed to do. And they'll try that onside kick again using your same reasoning, Danon. And it's going to be a penalty. It'll be offsides, illegal procedure on the Rockets from Rochester. Well, it's really become that way.
Offsides kicking team.
They're going to move the ball back another 5 yards and re-kick this ball. But I guess if you have the mindset of Derek Leonard and Rochester Rockets, you're saying, hey, they can't stop us. We can't stop them. Doesn't matter if they go 80 yards or 50 yards. The quicker we get the ball back, they roll the dice. It's a 50-50 chance that they can get the ball back on the onside kick, put more points on the board. The key to this game is going to be how many points ahead can Rochester get and keep it that far.
This time Perry will hit it a little bit deeper and puts in the end zone after having it backed up to the 35-yard line. You know, for those folks that may just be joining us and have seen the graphics and see the score, they say, oh, you know, what terrible defense is being played. But here's what's happening. You've got 2 offenses that play at a high level for their particular style, and their opponents have never seen to this extent that style all season.
Exactly. Not only have they not seen it, but because they have not seen it and they don't have the personnel to duplicate it, scouting it and playing against it and practicing against it to prepare is almost impossible.
So here comes Richmond. Burton starting from their 20-yard line. Last time they had it, Jack Deckow scored on a 68-yard touchdown run. This is Brett O'Kane for a 6-yard pickup on first down.
You know, we talk about Jack Deckow, but Brett O'Kane, when we spoke with Coach Elder during the week, he said he's a guy that plays all over, is a key factor on this team and with this team. And, you know, the successes, although Jack Deckow gets and definitely deserved a lot of credit, guys like Brett O'Kane are factors as well.
About a yard short of a first down as Deckow with the carry. This game started out 14-0 Rochester. That was their score at the end of 1. Deckow touchdown run cut it to 14-7. Grant with his first touchdown reception made it 21-7. A field goal late in the first half by Richmond Burton cut it to 21-10. And we have had 5 touchdowns scored here in the third quarter, and we still have 3:27 to play. In fact, just a little over 3 minutes ago, the score was 21-16. Here's a first down. Heidel keeps going. It was 21-16 with 6:52 to play in this quarter. We have 3:11, so what? That's about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. We've gone 21-16 to 42-24.
Another quarterback sneak here by Matthew Malecki. A nice job up front. The success of this Richmond Burton offense has really come when you see number 61 and number 57, the 2 guards on the offensive line for the Rockets. They're doing a nice job in that middle, opening up creases for Decal and Malecki.
First down, Richmond Burton. When you look back, the difference in this game, it's an 18-point difference on the board, but remember way back when, early in the first quarter, when Richmond Burton went 3 and out in their first 2 drives?
Yes.
That's 2 touchdowns right there.
It took them a little while to get going offensively, but ever since then, they have been almost impossible to stop. The hard running style, the smart play by Malecki.
To the short side of the field, and Kinsella will get it. It was Kinsella and O'Kane this season that really took the brunt of the action, with Decal being injured, that broken ankle. And there's the irony, the coincidence here. Decal breaks an ankle wrestling in July. He's the star player for Richmond Burton. Wes Lunt, doing plyometrics, broke a bone in his foot in July. They each had to miss about the first 4 or 5 games of the year. And yet here they've led their team to the 4A state title game. A 3rd down and 4. A little bit of confusion, the ball on the ground. And I believe Decal ends up, yes, there he is, number 31 with it.
And you know, Dave, I wondered where this was going to come into play, where the ball was going to be get a little slippery. And there's a lot of movement by the quarterback, Matthew Malecki, a lot of faking, fake quick pitches, trying to bring the ball back for late draws. You can see a little miscommunication in the backfield. Looked like Jack Decal closed his hands just a little bit quickly, and the ball squirted out. Very fortunate that he was able to get into that pile and get the ball back.
4th down and 5 from their own 42-yard line. Malecki has enough and more. Matt Malecki to the 35-30. Can't get through the last tackler down to the 10-yard line. What a run by the quarterback, the junior Matt Malecki, 48 yards on 4th down and 5.
What a great play by Matthew Malecki. Good job up front by the offensive line, but you can see athleticism, a nice block on the outside by the tight end Matt Rigel, and then it's off to the races for Malecki, running like a fullback in traffic, breaking tackles. Huge gain for Richmond Burton.
Matt Swain, defensive end, finally the man to bring down Malecki. It's a 1st down and goal from the 10. Malecki looking for his first pass of the day, and it unable to hang on. It's his tight end, Cade Fontana. Oh, Fontana will not want to look at this replay.
You talk about mixing things up and catching the defense off guard. You can see Malecki, a nice job, a good throw. Cade knows, and you can see the frustration right there. He knows he should have came down with that. That's only his 38th attempt, passing attempt on the season.
And now
surprises everybody.
Now it's 2nd and goal from the 10. And on the ground, Decal makes that last play irrelevant. 10-yard touchdown run. Jack Beckow. Richmond Burton will not go away. What a 3rd quarter we've had here in Champaign. Decal's 4th touchdown run of the night.
Talk about leaving it all on the field right there. You can see Now you see me, now you don't. Jack Deckow, 6 foot, 190 pound, runs hard for the touchdown, relatively untouched.
We still have 11 seconds to play in the third quarter. Don't go away yet. We could have more. Here's Deckow and that 10-yard run. Just so tough inside.
It's a nice job at the point of contact. Jake Pauley, the right tackle, does an excellent job on the seal block. Just all that young man needs is just a little bit of a crease. Guaranteed to break at least one tackle every time he touches the ball, and he's making the Rochester Rockets pay.
Now we look back into this quarter. I talked earlier about how two key situations early in the game were 2 3-and-outs by Richmond Burton. How about here in this quarter? We've alternated scores except one time. That was midway through the quarter when Rochester recovered an onside kick, eventually went down to score. That's why we're sitting at an 11-point difference right now rather than within a touchdown.
Well, we talked about it before, right after the last Richmond Burton touchdown. Will they come back and counter with an onside kick, knowing what they've been up against defensively? This is where the onside kick came about, and Matt Swain was able to get that ball and keep things going offensively for this high-powered offense in Rochester. At some point, Richmond Burton's going to have to try the same thing and get the ball back on their side. Otherwise, it's always going to be at least an 11-point lead because they have shown no signs of being able to stop Rochester's offense.
There's a 28-16 lead for Rochester when they recovered that onside kick. A couple of seconds later, they scored to make it 35-16. 6 touchdowns here in the third quarter, 3 in the second quarter. They'll kick it deep. At least punch it down that way. Grant to the outside. So dangerous when he touches the ball. Lance Ramage with the tackle to throw Grant out of bounds. And with 5 seconds left in the third, these will be the last 5 seconds that Rochester will have the wind at their back, though it hasn't seemed to necessarily affect them either direction they've gone.
With this offense, 5 seconds is a lot of time. You never know what's going to happen. Wes Lunt, the wind at his back.
Here on the near side, at the bottom right of your screen, that's where your offensive linemen are hanging out. They get it to Grant, and this time Brett O'Kane is all over it. And he will throw Zach Grant for a loss. And our third quarter has come to an end. Well, if you like your football offensive, you got it here in these last 12 minutes. A 21-10 halftime lead has gone to 42-31. Banging the drums here in Champaign. Rochester fans like what they see. It's what they've seen the last couple of seasons. Defending state champs in 4A, and they lead at 42-31. Back in Champaign's Memorial Stadium, University of Illinois, Dave Bernhardt and Danon Hughes with you as they play a stop for illegal procedure before a snap can get off, and it will be second down and about 20 here for Rochester. Well, Danon, you had some great quarterbacks that would get you the ball, but it'd be pretty nice if you're a high school player and had a fellow like Wes Lunt be able to deliver them to you.
Definitely. He's a great athlete and very smart with the ball as well.
Lunt finds Pasley. Our halftime statistics looked like this. Okay, this was at the half. We'll study them. 277 passing yards, 169 rushing yards. Okay. And after this play, we'll update you on our third quarter stats. Lunt bangs off of Austin Green's hands. Took a pretty good hit as well. Okay, this is just the third quarter. Look at that, 227 yards on the ground for Richmond Burton, 163 in the air. So let me do some quick math there. That's about 400 yards of offense, 402 yards of offense in the third quarter with these two teams. Wow. And this Ball will go out of bounds on the punt. Minute 29. That's how long that Rochester had the ball. 21 points in a minute 29.
And now the door has been left open. Right now, the first time that Richmond Burton has forced Rochester to punt the ball. They get the ball on their 33-yard line. If they can continue the success offensively, running the ball downhill, they can bring this game within 3 points with a 2-point conversion.
Remember, in the first half, the touchdown drives were taking 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Richmond Burton's been a little bit quicker with that here in the second half, thanks to the man handling the ball right now. It's the quarterback, Matthew Malecki. A very interesting moment in this game. We are just underway here in the fourth quarter. The one thing we will keep an eye on to see if the pace of the game that Richmond Burton wanted to have in the first half, they won't really be able to play that way here in the fourth quarter. They've got to get those plays called and up to the line a little bit quicker.
They also have to utilize their timeouts in a better fashion than what they did in that first half.
Matt Swain stays home and he brings Dekow down. No gain, maybe a loss on the play. There's number 9, Matt Swain.
Great job here. You can see him shoot the gap. Very smart, recognizing what's happening in front of him, not being fooled by the dive, but being very patient, knowing number 31 is getting the ball and makes a tackle right at the line of scrimmage.
And a third down and long, 3rd and 6. To the near side. That will be about 3 yards short of the first down, maybe 4. Kane could not get that extra block. We've reached the 10-minute mark. A 4th down and 4, and the Richmond Burton Rockets to go for it. This becomes a must-get for Richmond Burton. And Malecki will do just that. We talked about Jack Dekow and what he's done. Malecki has come up big.
Come up big, loses his helmet, doesn't even get brought down to the ground. Talking about 2 hard-nosed, tough runners in Matthew Malecki and Jack Dekow. He holds on to the ball, fools the defense. Gabe Ferguson comes up and makes a tackle and loses his helmet. Tough young man right there. Great leader for this Richmond Burton team.
Clock running. 9:20 left. Derek Leonard very relaxed, or so it appears. Hard running by Dekow. Good tackle. One-on-one, and number 9 once again. That's Matt Swain again on the stop. Swain is everywhere.
What we're seeing from the defense in Rochester is they look like they're guessing a little bit. They're trying to shoot gaps, trying to get off on the snap, very quick at the time of the snap, but they're just kind of running in blindly into the backfield. And Richmond Burton, conversely, is doing a very nice job with the ball movement, the fakes, and the jet sweep and the lead blocks.
That will be enough for a first down as Ferguson again will make the tackle to the 42-yard line of Rochester. The clock stopped for just a moment until they reset the chains with 8:26 to play.
And again, as we talked about earlier, Dave, no real urgency from Richmond Burton.
A couple of players over 100 yards rushing. Dekow with 196. How about Malecki's 128? Kinsella put his name up that list a little bit with that carry. Richmond Burton has run about 425 yards tonight.
We're witnessing guys breaking tackles, doing a nice job of dragging defenders, getting first down after first down, giving a lot of praise to Jack Dekow and Matthew Malecki. But the offensive line, when they watch the film, I'm sure the coach is going to be very pleased with what his guys are doing in the trenches.
Clock is ahead. Dekow unable to stay in bounds. It will stop the clock with 7:35. It will be yet another first down. And as we've seen this entire second half, nearly in the entire game, neither offense can be stopped. Question is, the folks in those white jerseys, will they have enough time and opportunities?
And who's going to have the ball last? It's really going to come down to that. Who has the ball last and what do they do with it? The one punt by West Lunt and Rochester.
Malecki sees an opening up the middle. He will get to the 20. That's an 8-yard pickup, and it will add to the record-setting total of total offense combined between these two teams. 889 yards, the previous record. Right now, these two teams have combined for 925 offensive yards. And we're not done yet. This one has been fun. Dekow has the big hole. Dekow to the 10. You know, Dane and I keep saying that this is fun because of the difference in how these two teams do it.
And, you know, it is fun and it's very interesting because, like you said, the difference in each team and how they're doing it, and the fact that they're both being as successful as the other. Normally you don't see that. It's one thing to see two teams, one throw, one run predominantly in their offensive attacks, but to see them have the yardage and the success that they're having, very unique.
It's time from the backside. Seth Cronin, number 45, will drop Dekow for a loss. Technically, Richmond Burton can get a first down. However, they'd have to get it to about the 1-inch line. We are coming up on that midway point of this fourth quarter. Second down, about 10.5 yards for a first down. They'll come this way. Nice cut by O'Kane. O'Kane will drive it on in. And the score has crept within 5. Don't go anywhere.
Brett O'Kane, one of the leaders of this offense. Just a nice little sweep route. You can see offensive lineman out in space. Nice job. Runs into a collision with Gabe Ferguson and wins. Drives into the end zone. 42-37, and like we spoke about earlier, Dave, you go for 2 in this situation to try to bring it within 3 points.
Double wing, Dekow. Hey, you're not going to stop him there. We've got ourselves a point game. 42-39. We still have 5:51 to play. Richmond Burton got the stop. They forced a punt. They drove it down. Brett O'Kane from the 10-yard line. This will get it within 5 with the touchdown. And then Jack Dekow. They needed 2. He got it. A 3-point game as we come back. The 2011 IHSA Football Championships are brought to you by Country Financial. What's your idea of financial security? And they are getting set for that 4A championship trophy, but I'm telling you, with 5:51 left here in the fourth quarter and 81 points on the board in a 3-point game, we're not ready to decide that yet. Richmond Burton elects to kick deep. And Rochester start at the 20. Well, the last time the Rockets from Rochester had the ball, they were forced into their only punt of the night. And you just saw what happened. 8 points for Richmond Burton the other way.
That man on the sideline has to be very pleased with how his team has battled.
Rochester to the ground and no gain. For Rochester, last year's team, a 14-0 state championship team, that was a dream team. They knew they had the players capable of doing that. This year, Derek Leonard has said, this one was so unexpected. It has been so fun to get to this point. Here's Lunt in trouble. 2 plays, no yards. It is 3rd down and 10.
And the clock stops right there. Nice job by Nick Zielinski. Comes off the edge, not fooled by the play action in the backfield. Doesn't allow Wes Lunt to get outside the pocket for the incompletion for Rochester.
The biggest 3rd down play of the night. 3rd and 10 for Rochester. You see Derek Leonard. He will make the play call. Now the communication among the receivers. They tighten them up here in the near side, and that takes a bit too long. And a timeout, Rochester. Timeout us. You've got about 60 seconds. Let's get yourself ready for the final 5:26. 42-39. We'll be back. Derek Leonard talking to his team, setting up the 3rd down and 10. The last 2 plays a little bit uncharacteristic for Rochester tonight.
Yes, they were. They came out and ran the ball on the first play, which is the first time they've done that all game long. You wondered if they got a little bit gun shy.
On this play, they lay it up there for Grant. He goes and gets it. And that's all it was. They let the All-Stater Zach Grant go up and get it. He brings it down for 31 yards and a 1st down near midfield.
Probably the worst thrown ball by Wes Lunt in this ball game, but that just tells you about the synergy between he and Zach Grant. Trust, one-on-one coverage makes the play to extend the drive. 976
total yards of offense tonight with these 2 teams. It's a record for all 8 classes. Previous record, 938 yards. That was in 2006, Plano and St. Joe Ogden. Not much going there on 1st down. Garrett Dooley finds the going tough. Under 5 minutes to play.
Nice play by the nose guard, Henry Roberson, number 78 at 6 foot, 295-pound senior. Still battling.
Now the play clock comes into play. 15 seconds left on that. Coming up on 4.5 minutes in the game. Lunt, the left side. Green has it. That should be enough for a 1st down. Now the ball came out. Richmond Burton says they should have it. It was Robeson on the bottom of the pile. The ball will stay with Rochester.
See, the catch is made. He bobbles it from the beginning, gets control of it. He was down already before that ball came loose. Nice job, nice call by the referee crew.
We may have to measure here for a 1st down. We'll bring the chains out. 4:10 left.
Now, Dave, I thought on that last play, we talk about the clock coming into play. I thought on that last play and what Rochester should do in this drive, milk the clock a little bit more. They snapped the ball with 9 seconds left on the play clock. Try to utilize that, especially with the no-huddle offense. They have nothing to lose to allow it to get to maybe 6 before they call the play and look for the snap.
And that reaction by Pat Elder came when he saw the replay on the video board. He thought it was a fumble. Instead, he has to defend a 3rd down and inches. They pitch it to Dooley to the outside. Dooley the 1st down. They were looking for a bit more.
Well, they're looking for a bit more, but a very smart play by Garrett Dooley. On the sideline, he creates contact to stay in bounds as opposed to going out of bounds. Although the clock stops because the chains have to move, the clock will continue to start as soon as they get them set. Try to milk it down. Again, they snap the ball with 10 seconds left on the play clock. Need to do a little bit better job of milking this clock. You can expect Coach Elder to start calling timeouts if they get another 1st down.
Dooley up the middle. Hard running. That's a good pickup on first down. A couple of things here, obviously working against Richmond Burton. The field position with the clock, should there even be a turnover or something of that sort here. The snap will come with the clock underneath 3 minutes. The Jack Deckow, number 31 on the defensive side. That's what those Rockets are thinking about. They're thinking turnover. Lunt will take the play clock down to 5 seconds before Dooley gets it. There's a strip. And Rochester ends up on it. Oh my. Woo-hoo. Derek Leonard saying the same thing.
Talk about your heart jumping out of your chest right there. A nice job coming up from that linebacker position. Jack Deckow strips the ball, but Rochester is right around it to get it back. Another first down.
They were faced with that 3rd down and 10, and they found Grant for 31 to midfield, and that's what has kept this drive moving and the clock running. Richmond Burton has 3 timeouts remaining. Rochester 2.5 minutes from going back-to-back for 4A state titles. Dooley. And again, another 7 yards on first down. Richmond Burton will have to think about those timeouts here very soon.
Well, they'll have to. If they give up the first down here, that's when the timeouts will start inside the 15-yard line. But you got to give credit to Derek Leonard and this Rochester team when they need to keep the ball, not score quick, take a lot of time off the clock, get the run game going. They've executed to perfection in this drive.
Derek Leonard and Pat Elder. Sideline pass to Grant. To the 10, to the 5, first and goal inside the 5-yard line for Rochester. And how about this drive? After scoring 3 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter on combined drives that lasted 1 minute and 25 seconds, they have taken over 5 minutes off the clock here on this drive when they needed to the most. 559 yards of offense for Rochester tonight. That's a 4A record. 506 in the air. We've had 50 first downs tonight. And it's first and goal from the 2. Cronin has scored twice here near the goal line on the south end. But they'll give it to Dooley. And great tackle that time for Richmond Burton. Coming up is Nick Zielinski.
We've seen Nick Zielinski come off the edge several times this evening and do a nice job of causing havoc in the backfield of Rochester. And right there comes back with a crucial play, headsy play, and just a great effort by number 58.
Now, speaking of Nick Zielinski, he's buddies with Jake Reimars, a backup here for Richmond Burton. And Jake's brother Josh, he was a center on 2 Richmond Burton teams that reached the semis twice. Well, his brother Josh passed away in his sleep at the age of 19 this past August 31st, and both Nick Zielinski and Jake Reimars, they wear Josh's initials and numbers in every game to remember how hard he played. And Mother Renee Reimars gets involved with this as well. Great tradition to Richmond Burton. She bakes cookies for Monday's film session after a win. Now, that was a tradition that started in 2008 after Richmond Burton started that year at 1-4, and then they eventually went to the semis. Well, Josh would be the person to deliver those cookies. Now the tradition continues. Jake delivers those Monday film session cookies.
Great story.
So Nick Zielinski, honoring his friend and former teammate who passed away, digging deep here in the final 90 seconds of this 4A championship game. They'll sweep it to this side. Grant unable to turn the corner. Richmond Burton will take another timeout. It comes with 1:22.
Coming with the jet sweep, taking a page out of Richmond Burton's book, trying to run use the speed to the corner. Zach Grant has nowhere to go. A nice job, John Flood from the defensive tackle position, making plays out in the perimeter. Nice job right there.
Zach Grant in the record book. All-time receiving record for yardage, any class here in the IHSA State Football Finals, 259 yards. His 13 receptions ties him for the top mark. Next year, folks, when you pick up a program here at the IHSA State Finals, there'll be an all-new page dedicated to this game. 42-39.
Hey, it'll be a Lucy. Hey.
Now Zach Grant back onto the field after Derek Leonard has his say. 3rd and goal from the 5. Even after the conversation, they look back after having the defense set. Lunt is ready to go. To the corner. And it's intercepted. And he'll take a knee right there. 1:17 left. That's only the 4th interception thrown this year by Lunt. And Richmond Burton has a chance.
You can see great coverage on the outside by Brent O'Kane. Comes up with the interception. Now you wonder about taking a knee right there. It looked like he had a nice little convoy set up down the sideline. And how about that? The tip drill, presence of mind knowing exactly where he is, goes to a knee. They get the ball on the 20-yard line. I wonder about that decision. You don't want to knock that young man. He's thinking about what he should have done. Give him credit for that. But with the convoy and the circumstances, I think I would have liked to see him come out of the end zone with that ball.
Richmond Burton 80 yards away, 1 timeout left. Dickow will head to the sideline. Good play there. He'll stop the clock. He gets to the 35.
Now in this situation, Dave, you'd like to see Rochester be more in a prevent defense. Now normally you don't talk about prevent defenses when it comes to the running game or going against a running game, but the prevent defense, bring the defensive backs deeper, try to keep the runners in bounds to use some more clock.
The near side again. Dickow works off a block. Like that, O'Kane. Brett O'Kane with the gain. He made a wise decision, made a wise cut off the block, then saw there was nothing left, got out of bounds.
Nice job here. You can see just another jet sweep. O'Kane, who came up with the big defensive play and the interception, protects the ball in traffic. Smart to get out of bounds. 1 minute, 5 seconds left. And also another key factor, Dave, they have the wind at their back. A game-tying field goal is not impossible.
65 seconds left in your 4A championship game. On the ground to Dickow, nowhere. They'll have to get off that pile in a hurry. Remember, Richmond Burton with that 1 timeout left. Under a minute to play, clock moving. Malecki has attempted 1 pass tonight. Room for Dickow. It's a first down and will stop the clock to move the chains. 37 seconds left.
Now Coach Elder is trying to save that 1 timeout in case they have to use it for a last-second field goal.
That will stop it.
Very smart play right there by Matthew Malecki.
See Wes Lunt looking back at that last pass that he threw. It was great coverage by O'Kane. He was trying to go one more time to his buddy, Zach Grant. Instead, Richmond Burton, 39 yards away. A field goal ties it. A touchdown would give them the lead. Timeout called Rochester. As long as they're digging into the record books, 52 yards, a 4A field goal record. Kicker Michael Marzal has kicked a field goal tonight. In fact, he had a 31-yarder tonight against the wind, and he is having a discussion right there. Very well may come down to him, and as Danon mentioned, it's a 20-mile-per-hour wind at his back. Each team with one timeout left.
Talk about Michael Marzal and his field goal abilities, what he's done all season long. 4 for 6 in field goal attempts. His long has only been 30 yards though, but like you said, with this wind, you can probably add another 10 or 15 yards if he gets a nice strike on the ball.
The fans on both sides to their feet. Wes Lunt, I'm feeling so well right now. Has to count on his defense. With 34 seconds left. To the outside. Great tackle. Garrett Dooley with the ankle tackle just grabbed and hung on. And that will force Richmond Burton to take the final timeout.
What a great play by number 34, Garrett Dooley, right here. You can see he's getting pushed down, a nice block on the outside by Cade Fontana, but Dooley would not be denied. He makes that huge game-saving tackle, I guess you would say, Dave, and that could have been very costly to Rochester.
All right, well, now your situation, 27 seconds left. You're just thinking field goal here, but you have no way to stop the clock unless you get out of bounds, spike it.
Yeah.
First down, well, momentarily.
And the situation is 3rd down and 9. So you can't afford to spike it if you don't get the first down.
True.
You're gonna have to, it's gonna be a rush on field goal attempt because you can run out of downs if you don't get the first down.
No timeouts remaining for Richmond Burton. 3rd down and 9. Malecki to throw. Screen the other way, O'Kane. And the clock will stop with 21 seconds left. It will be 4th down and the incomplete pass. And this is a bit too long, I believe, for that field goal attempt. It'd be 55 yards. And wind or no wind, that would be too much to ask. They bring the offense on the field, 4th and 9.
Well, they're going to try to go for the first down and utilize the first down and moving the change to stop the clock, spike the ball. They don't get the first down, it'll be game over.
Here it is. Kinsella motion. The other way, the short side of the field. O'Kane fights. He's not going to get there. And with 13 seconds left, the celebration is beginning. And number 11, Wes Lunt, is a happy man right now.
There's no other person in this stadium that's more relieved than number 11, Wes Lunt. Has had a record-breaking day, phenomenal day at the quarterback position and leadoff position. You can see they just try to run the jet sweep to Brett O'Kane. And again, Gabe Ferguson comes up, but then a host of Rochester tacklers come in and deny him from getting that first down.
Derek Leonard's reaction. Victory. He needs one clean snap, and that is it. And there it is. Rochester Rockets, who had to replace 14 senior starters off of last year's 14-0 state championship team. They lose Wes Lunt for the first 4 weeks of the season, yet they repeat in a thriller here in your 4A championship game. Rochester 42, Richmond Burton 39. The first championship for Rochester last season came with what they called their dream team. All the pieces were fitting together. This year they didn't know what pieces they would have, how they would make it work. Wes Lunt misses the first 4 weeks with a broken foot. Somehow Rochester and Derek Leonard put it together, and they go back-to-back in 4A.
Unbelievable ball game. The fight and determination by Richmond Burton would not be denied. Every punch that they took from the offense of Rochester, they came back with a punch of their own. On the ground, the run game, Jack Decal, Matthew Malecki, great job up front by the offensive line. Just kept pushing and prodding and gave their team an opportunity to try to come back in those last minutes. Big defensive play, fourth quarter defense, turnover, punts. Just a great job. A very exciting and entertaining game to watch. Great job by both sides.
There are your headlines. Take two, as in 2 consecutive state champions. Rochester football program has been around for 15 years. They have 2 big trophies. They'll get their second one coming up in just a few minutes. Your final score, Rochester 42, Richmond Burton 39. Trophy presentation coming up next.
What a finish to our first day of state championship action here at the 2011 IHSA State Football Championships. Rochester holds on for a 42-39 win as they bring home their second consecutive Class 4A state championship. Both teams taking a few extra minutes at midfield, and for good reason. Both teams trying to let this one soak in. An unbelievable performance tonight from Richmond Burton as they just kept fighting all night long, even when it looked like the game was slipping away from them. They stayed the course, they ran their offense, and had a chance to come back and win this one in the final seconds. But wow, what a game. Danon and Dave, let's send it up to you.
Thank you very much, Aaron. And, you know, I think you really said it best. You know, Danon and Aaron mentions that they stayed the course. Richmond Burton just fought all the way through. Boy, how easy it would have been just to kind of fold it up a little bit when you saw what Rochester was doing to you.
Well, when you saw what Rochester in the beginning of the ball game, you kind of wondered if Richmond Burton could keep up. And what they were able to do, like you said, is stay with their game plan. They came in to make a conscious effort of running the ball, which they've done all season long. No surprise. They won at the line of scrimmage. They did a great job offensively. They just couldn't figure things out defensively until late in the fourth quarter. They were able to try to capitalize, and all you ask for in a situation like this is your team giving you an opportunity to win a ball game. You give credit to Rochester. Offensively, they had that long drive, took up a lot of time on the clock. Defensively, they came up with the stop when they needed it.
Let's take you down to the trophy presentation. Our public address announcer is Jeff Fritzen.
Next will Superintendent Tom Bertrand, Principal Dennis Canny, Athletic Director J.R. Budoris, and Coach Derek Leonard, and the captains of state champion Rochester. Please join the presenters on the awards platform. Mr. Bradley and Mr. Boyd will present a special medallion to the administrators and individual awards to Coach Leonard and his team captains.
Thank you. A little bit. It's not even on one eye. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you very much. Your arm tired? A little bit. I've had
his legs are tired, so thank you.
Now Mr. Bradley will present this year's state championship Class 4A team trophy to the Rockets of Rochester, who finished the season with a final record of 12 wins and 2 losses.
Let's take it down. Let's take it down. Let me take it.
So there you have it, the Rochester Rockets celebrating tonight. They are your 4A state champs. We will have some post-game reaction next on the IHSA television network.
Welcome back. We have concluded the Class 4A state championship game. I am standing by with Rochester head coach Derek Leonard. Coach, this game at halftime was 21-10, and things just got crazy in the third quarter. You had the ball for just under 2 minutes, but 3 touchdowns. How were you able to get all that offense going in the third quarter?
Yeah, you know, first I want to give thanks to the Lord. He put us in this spot and blessed us and this team. But we're the type of team when we get on a roll, I told you, when we get a first down and we get going, and we kind of like those kind of games. So when that pace was going, we really liked it. When we struggled, when they kept it from us, they took long drives, and but once that game got going, we kind of liked it. And then it kind of slowed down again. We didn't like that.
Coach, defensively, this was not an easy game. Richmond Burton did not go away easily. What can you say about the effort overall for your guys to hang on to this one?
Yeah, it was a great game, and it's a great effort by them. They're so well coached. They fought, our kids fought, and that's a classic game. I mean, that's once in a lifetime type of game, and I'm just glad we pulled it out. And you know, just a great game.
How satisfying is this, your second state championship?
Oh, it feels good. You know, there's so much stress there at the end. I'm kind of relieved it's over, but I'm glad we won. This team's been blessed. We're so lucky, the community. You know, we're just so lucky. I want to say hi to my family, Sean, everyone looking. Hi, guys.
All right.
I'm like a little kid.
Congratulations to Coach Derek Leonard and the Rochester Rockets. Dave, back up to you.
Well, there's nothing phony about Derek Leonard's reaction. He's enjoying every bit of this. We welcome back upstairs Dave Bernhardt and Dana Hughes. The trophy is being carried off there by Rochester. They'll put that one in their trophy case. And I look back, the key drive in this game was the last drive in the game for Rochester. They had a 3rd down and 10. They were in danger of giving the ball back to Richmond Burton with about 4 or 5 minutes left. They're able to keep it all the way down until that interception. That was huge.
Yes, it was. You know what? When you need to have plays made, and you know, we talked about it during the game, sometimes scoring quickly can work against you. And I thought that prime opportunity where they can have an extended drive, the worst thrown ball that West Lund threw all day was a catchable ball made by Zach Grant to keep that drive going. It was great timing for them, and that's why they were successful.
Well, the numbers were huge in this game. How huge? We've set a number of different records in this game. Let's take a look. First of all, this is from earlier on today. Jake Apple from Dakota rushed for 377 yards, a 1A game. That's an overall record. And then West Lund, how about here in this ball game? He had a 590-yard passing game. That set a state record regular season. He has 506 yards tonight, 31 completions is a record. And who's he going to go to? His number 1 guy, Zach Grant, sets that receiving yardage record of 259 yards. That's a pretty good day's work here in day number 1 of the IHSA State Football Finals. We still have a few more records to go as we take a look. They continued. Jack Deckow, 244 yards. That's a Class 4A record. Richmond Burton, how about 514 yards on the ground for the Rockets? And these other records, of course, for West Lund, in addition to all class records, become 4A records as well. Zach Grant with the 13 receptions. And you saw it happening. Neither team could stop anybody, but more importantly, both teams were so good offensively.
Well, they were efficient, and they have game plans, their offensive attacks, what's made them successful all season long. Richmond Burton running the ball, Rochester throwing the ball. They came out on center stage when they needed to be at their best offensively with all their weapons. Both teams showed up. It was a great job, very entertaining.
Okay, so you're just tuning in now. You know the final score is 42-39. You heard us talk about it. You'd like a capsule of this game? Well, come back. We've got the highlights for this game. If we can take one deep breath. There it is, your 4A champions, Rochester, 42-39. Back with the highlights.
We are back at Memorial Stadium with a very disappointed and I'm sure exhausted head coach Pat Elder, Richmond Burton. Coach, what a game. Just talk about the finish of that one and kind of what was going through your mind as that one unfolded.
Yeah, you know, we were hoping for a touchdown there, trying to get in field goal range, and you know, we weren't able to. They got to stop there at the end. You know, I thought our kids did a nice job getting us down there with a chance. You know, we just came up. I don't know, we came up 45 seconds or 8 yards, about 3 yards or something short. But I thought our youngsters showed an unbelievable amount of character. You know, I don't know. We didn't feel like people were giving us much of a shot. We thought we had a pretty nice football team coming into the game. And you know, obviously it took us a while to adjust to them. And they adjusted a little quicker, and that was the difference in the football game. But, you know, I thought once we adjusted to them our offense to their defense, you know, we were able to move the football and moved it all game. And, you know, and then we were able to scratch out a couple stops in the second half. We just couldn't scratch one out fast enough to give us enough time to win the football game. But this group of kids has shown great character all year. And I thought the second half showed it. You know, they fought, scratched, clawed, and every time you thought we were out of the game, bang, we made a play and got back in it. We had the ball and a chance to win. We couldn't ask for anything more than that.
Coach, thanks a lot for joining us. Congratulations on a great season. The state runner-up Richmond Burton Rockets head coach Pat Elder, kind enough to join us after the game. Danon and Dave will send it up to you.
All right, thank you very much, Aaron. And yeah, a classy act there by Pat Elder to stand by and after everybody's cleared the field to have a chance to talk with us. Well, I promised you those highlights. Get ready. Here they come as a 81, make that a 91-point scoring game. No, I've got 81 points here tonight. These were the first 6. Seth Cronin, it's ironic, Danon. First 2 scoring plays tonight were 1-yard dives by Cronin.
Yeah, when you look at these highlights, you think that maybe they ran the ball downfield, but those are pretty much the only 2 running plays of those drives. And then Garrett Dooley came in. The next time they eclipsed into the red zone, fumbled the ball, gave some life to Richmond Burton.
Right, they brought it. This was a 95-yard drive culmination. That touchdown run by Deco to make it 14-7. But here's the combination that's worked all year long. Lunch to Zach Grant.
You know what, Zach Grant, you look at his numbers, came in with over 2,000 yards receiving, did a great job again today, breaking records, and then the running attack really got going with Richmond Burton and Jack Deckhouse.
In the half, it was 21-10. That touchdown made it 21-16. That was the first of 6 touchdowns scored in the third quarter. This is Austin Green. This was a 60-yarder. That made the score 28-16.
Well, then they came back with a very gutsy play. Matt Swain, the defensive end, comes through in the clutch, recovering the onside kick. That's when the things started opening up, and they started getting to getting a double-digit deficit by Richmond Burton.
That touchdown by Dooley made it 35-16. And here comes Deckhouse 68 yards later. All of a sudden, Richmond Burton has cut this lead down 35-24 down to an 11-point game, but we're not quite done yet. Now when you have Grant to Lunt, or Lunt to Grant, it was Grant to Lunt when they were in 8th grade. It's the other way around now.
Well, you know what? They came up with big plays, one-on-one on the outside. Grant was definitely a mismatch against any of the defensive backs for Richmond Burton. You talk about mismatches, Jack Deckhouse, huge all game long in the running attack. Brett O'Kane came through in the clutch as well. Got to give credit to Pat Elder and his team. They really fought.
In fact, it was the last 2 touchdowns of this game scored by Richmond Burton. This was the huge interception by O'Kane that denied Rochester the chance. And here, the final play of the game for Richmond Burton, unable to get the first down. And I find it interesting, too, as Derek Leonard celebrates the victory. We have 81 points in this game, 42-39. Yet even in games like this, it comes down to what Pat Elder mentioned a couple of times. It comes down to a stop.
Yeah, exactly. And to see both of these teams, and when you look at the numbers and you see the progression from the first quarter to the second and third quarter, you wondered if either team was going to give up. Both teams fought. 514 yards rushing for Richmond Burton and 506 passing for Rochester. Very exciting game all around.
So you see 13 minutes of possession time for Rochester, able to work that out for 42 points. One of the reasons why is Zach Grant, senior wide receiver. He's with Aaron Bennett right now.
We are here with Zach Grant, one of the star wide receivers of your 4A champion Rochester Rockets. Zach, How does it feel to go back-to-back? A lot of people didn't think you could do it this year.
No, man, it's unreal. You know, all of us, just everyone works so hard. You know, we're so blessed to be in this position. You know, everyone, our community was behind us this whole ride. You know, we had doubters out there, and we came out and showed them up. And man, you know, it makes everyone feel so great that we're here. And you know, the fact that we won it, you know, twice is just, it's unreal. You know, most teams in the country can't do that. And you know, Coach Leonard just, man, he's like a father to me. You know, he's always been there for me, and you know, I love him so much. All my guys, you know, everyone was just, it was unreal. You know, I'm gonna give a shout out to Johnny Gilson, one of my best friends, one of my great teammates. You know, got in a bad car accident. Johnny, this was for you.
What can you say about the character and fight on this team? Losing all the seniors you did out from last year's team, and to get back here and do it again.
I can't say how proud of I am of these guys. You know, it was amazing. All of them, every single one of them are sidelines, and the 22 players that were out there, they gave it their all the time, and that's what won us a state championship.
Congratulations, Zach. Go celebrate. Zach Grant, the Rochester Rockets, back-to-back 4A state championships, 42-39 over Richmond Burton. You are watching IHSA State Football on the IHSA Television Network.
Christian. Well, the wind is still blowing here at Memorial Stadium. We're not quite through yet. We have to get you set up for tomorrow. That's right, 4 more games coming your way tomorrow. There's your 4A final, Rochester over Burton. Rochester 4A state champs for the 2nd straight year, 42-39. Let's check into the post-game press conference. Richmond Burton's Jack Deckow is at the podium.
It was amazing. You can't really do it without this awesome team. We couldn't do it without Coach Pat Elder. I just got really nothing to say. I gave it all to Josh Reimar's fellow teammate's brother that passed away. So thank him for getting us here. He got us through this. Thank you.
Well, we've seen from Jack Deckow and also from Zach Grant, very emotional night here at Memorial Stadium.
Well, you know what, when the players come out and they have a lot on the line, they put a lot on their shoulders, emotional for both of these teams, but you have to give credit to the fight. They have nothing to be ashamed of. They came out and made a game of something that looked like it was going to be ugly early on, so I give credit to that staff. Coach Elder does a great job getting those players in the right position, putting them in positions to be successful, and on this stage today, they have nothing to be ashamed of.
Well, we've had a great day here, our day 1 of the 8 games here, the crowned 8 state champions. Now, in about 11.5 hours from now, we'll be right back at you, and we'll get it started this way. Boy, what a great matchup in 5A. Lee Hall and my partner Dana Hughes will be on that one. Joliet Catholic against Montini a couple of years ago. That came down to a 2-point conversion, final play of the game. Then in 6A, Peoria Richwoods, who started the season 0-3, they play in a title game against Prairie Ridge. Into 7A, a matchup of defending state champions. Rockford Boylan last year, the 6A state champions. Wheaton Warrenville South looking to go back to back to back. Great matchup in 7A. And then the one a lot of folks are talking about in 8A, a matchup of 2 great quarterbacks. Malcolm Weaver for Loyola Academy, Aaron Bailey for Bolingbrook. That will be your 8A championship game. And Dana, you take a look at that. If people enjoyed today's action, get set. Bringing home the big trophies here tonight. Coming up tomorrow, we'll give away 4 more championship trophies. Here in your 4A final, it was Rochester over Richmond Burton. Tomorrow we get things started. Montini, Joliet Catholic. See you at 10 a.m.